Hey everybody, welcome back to Alien RPG. Today, this is session 1 of my new campaign. This is scenario 1, which is known as Progressive Destruction. I hope you will stay on to watch this. I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe for more Alien RPG comment. Put your comments below, thumbs up, everything. All that stuff really helps the channel. I'd love to hear your input. Here we go.
Maybe to start off, I'm gonna modify my name just to include my my skill, so that we can get used to what everybody does.
Oh, all right.
Would you guys mind doing that? I think I don't know. That might be easier than going around and writing it down. That's kind of important.
What are you asking about?
I said I'm gonna put pilot as part of my name.
So
that everybody knows what I do on this ship until we until we memorize it.
So, draw a little attention to myself for a moment. I am wearing yet another theme shirt today. This one is you guys probably won't be able to see it too well, but it's
Cyberdyne Systems.
yeah, Cyberdyne Systems, a Wayland Yutani company, building a better you. So, not that that will be
Excellent.
an indication of anything to happen today. It's actually I made this shirt based on a one shot that I wrote. That's really not a one shot. It's meant for integration with the Frontier War campaign, and Marty has actually played that mission. It was a lot of fun. As much as he went out of his way to try to keep me from having fun for a while there. So,
Where'd you get that made up?
Spreadshirt.
Spreadshirt. And they
Yeah,
do one-offs like that pretty cheap.
There's stuff all over Spreadshirt. But you can make your own stuff if you've got the graphics, and you can see what's out there. I was toying around with making a shirt with the art from Rule of Robots that my daughter did, because I really like that piece of art. I really enjoy that game. All right. What the heck? I'm getting some sound from somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. That was very odd. All right.
Okay. Well, last question. Do they get touchy with anything that might be copyrighted?
I'm not worried about it. Oh, it's Spreadshirt?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
Because it's such a small thing. I mean, I've got some shirts that I've made over the years, because anything you make is technically for sale in the store, and I've got some things I've made over the years that are copyrighted, and I've never sold one, and I've never gotten a cease and desist letter or anything like that.
Okay.
So,
All right. Nice.
yeah, as long as you're probably not selling 2,000 of them a month, then
Yeah. Nobody notices or cares.
exactly.
I don't know, that the heirs of the original writer might come after you 25 years after the fact.
Yeah. Maybe. I'll pay them the $3
Yeah.
fee for using their image, I guess. 20 years later.
Yeah, we have a running joke at my job when we let somebody go that I know it's a little bleak, but when we let somebody go, you can't use the words "you're fired," because if you do, Trump is going to show up with his hand open.
Yeah.
So, got a quote for you right there on board. You guys are all on the research vessel main deck page, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've got just a quote from you there for you there. Those challenges are yours in many fields, of not the least is space, because there lies human destiny. Neil Armstrong. So, I think everybody is good to go. Let me get my PDF up, which I should have already had it up, but as we know, I'm a bad GM. And there we go. So, what's the story, Mother? It is the 1st of April, 2184. Your vessel is an FTL on the way to its first survey in Sector 82, which is located, for those of you with a map, at plus 13 coreward and plus 5 spinward, well past the frontier, as part of your contract with United Americas. The trip from Arcturus was 5 parsecs, requiring about a month in cryo, even for your ship's boosted drives. Not trusting Apollo to handle the electronic maintenance, a few of you woke up every week to check the ship over. The third time you headed into the old freezerinos, you began to understand why most ships have an android aboard. Waking up and dealing with hypersleep after effects just to do 8 hours of work and go back to sleep is absolute bullshit. Regardless, your job is to catalog entire systems, report life viable plants back to the UA, and investigate any abnormalities or anomalies. So, you are all in cryo, which is smack dab in the center of the ship, so I'm going to drag you all over there. Because that's where, oops, I dragged Dr. Roman on top of, and Max Decker. Yep, there we go. So
being the pilot in here, I just pulled up my map. Let's see if I can get a 2-page view on this PDF. Excellent. Okay. You said we're by Arcturus. So what?
Arcturus is where you guys left from.
Oh, left one. Okay.
Yeah, your destination was a parsec at plus 13 coreward and plus 5 spinward. So if you're looking at the map, it's quote unquote almost due east from Arcturus. And the familiar effects of cryo, you as the system begins to wake you, you vaguely hear the hum of your cryo containers opening, and eventually you become aware of a blur of white light that kind of takes over your vision. You start to regain motion in the limbs and rub your eyes. So you're all awaking from cryo, and this is where you're going to get to make your first roll. Could I get a stamina roll from everybody? Where's Vickers? There he is. I'll roll his for him. Ooh, wow.
You're some groggy kids.
Yeah, no doubt. Wow, even Dwayne Dunning. Does anybody want to push the roll?
Sure, why not?
Oh, 2 successes. Well, look at that. What would you like to do with your stamina stunt, sir?
Oh, crap. That's one of those I don't know what my stunts are. Let me look.
You know, we don't roll stamina that often,
No.
in all fairness.
You can do. You can give 6
Oh,
to someone and
success to
see.
somebody else. All right. I'm going to give a success to...
The pilot.
I already have a success though.
That's right. So I think the next one should be the boss lady. I'll give one to Rudy.
All right.
Thanks.
So Max, Rudy, and Dwayne, you guys wake up and are getting yourselves together pretty quickly. Dr. Sinclair, Dr. Roman, the two of you are having a little bit of trouble getting going. You've got some ill effects. Tell me how this is making you feel as you try to wake up.
I would guess some combination of stiff and nauseous, like waking up with a bad bout of the flu. You know you've got some kind of fever or something that's just making you not move right, feel weak, and then you also feel like you could throw up.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, just add some hangover feel in there, then it's about right.
Mhm.
All right, sounds good. Now, a quick out of story point of order. Um, in campaign play, you have to run weekly rolls for heavy machinery and comtech for the maintenance of the ship. Now, I don't have you guys actually wake up from cryo every week to do that and go back to sleep. I just handle it in narrative, just because otherwise it just weighs down the game with mechanics. But when we actually wake up and get going with the game, someone will have to do that. So you need a comtech roll and a heavy machinery roll for maintenance, which takes about a shift of work. Other than that, you guys are pulling it together. Oh, and I'm sorry. And remember, after you do cryo, you have to hydrate. Which there's a very if you look in the ship stores, there's a very specific thing for that in your handout. SS Magellan ship stores. Those hydration pills are specifically for that. Um, And then just keep in mind also that your ship has plenty of water and meals on board. You do have to eat and drink one shift per 4. And you have to consume water anytime you do anything really strenuous like combat or that type of thing. So just keep those things in mind as you guys, as we go through this, so that you determine what you need to have around and what you need to do.
Do we want? Should I just centrally manage that? Being the pilot, I can start deducting when we start using that stuff.
Yeah, it's fine by me if everybody's good with that.
Yeah, sounds good.
You should all have access to edit that page, so
Yeah.
that's fine. All right. Yeah, your medic, Vickers. He's having a little bit of a rough time. Yeah, I don't know what Vickers' personality is like, so I probably won't roleplay him that much. But he kind of sits up on the edge of his cryo tube, and he's looking very green. And he says, "Well, Apollo woke us all up. Do we know where we are?"
I'll just say I'm headed to the bridge now. We should be close to our destination.
All right. Very good. And Vickers, as he starts to get his crap together, he's probably going to head over to medical. Who's Vickers? That's Vickers. So he's going to head that way.
And
Make
when
sure
I get
everything's in order.
When I get my crap together, I'm going to head back to propulsion and start doing my maintenance.
Okay. All right. So you can move yourself back there if you like.
Hold on, I gotta.
And we had to take all of us had to take hydration pills, right?
Correct. So
Yeah.
subtract 6.
Which is kind of a misnomer, right? Because they don't really hydrate you.
They're
They
really
balance your
electrolyte cocktails.
Yeah, they balance your electrolytes and stuff. All right.
Okay. Doctors, what would you two like to do?
Recover from cryo sickness.
Okay.
Yep.
Is the medic going to be an NPC, or are we missing somebody that'll
We're
play?
missing Jesse. He'll be here in
Okay.
a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Jake is going to the galley to get a nice cup of warm tea and settle his stomach, etc.
Okay. All right. That will be fine. And Captain Rudy, what are you up to?
Rudy will go to the bridge once everybody looks like they are okay to get up and start moving around.
All right.
We don't have any problems coming out of cryo. She'll move herself over here and start running her checks.
Okay. Very good.
And I did my heavy machinery roll for the shift.
Correct. So, so you have 2 stunts that you can use.
Your character is really good at heavy machinery. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Well, he is the roughneck.
That is good.
How would you like to use those stunts, sir?
Well, why don't we save one of them for the same activity next time?
Very good. Okay. Auto success. Next time you have to maintain the ship. I like it.
Yeah. And I'm looking to see what other stunts are even worth even thinking about.
You can do half the time. You can do a +1 bonus to a future heavy machinery roll. You can break it permanently.
Let's not do that one. Well, I don't know if it's necessary, but I'll take the +1 mod to a later roll.
Yeah, so just the next heavy machinery roll you do, you get a +1 die.
I'll make a note.
Oh, quick question. Typically on this type of ship, because the mother mainframe room is right below the bridge. If you look, you'll see that there's a ladder right there on the bridge that goes down into that room. Typically, only the captain or a captain and first officer would have access to mother. But in this particular instance, are you guys holding that rule, or are you allowing pretty much anyone to have access to mother? Since you guys are more
we're
of
all
a
in this
cooperative.
together.
Right. I would say probably spirit of cooperation. Everybody can have access.
Okay.
Anybody have problems with that?
Nah, it's not like we're a military vessel where there's like a high intra command structure security need.
Yeah, and you're not under control of any of the corporations. So.
Is,
As
is
far
this
as we
is
know.
mother supposed to be something that like the crew like? Is there like some kind of executive function that it could destroy the ship or somehow have
Well-
some kind of repercussions? I mean, in that case, maybe we should have a protocol, but
Mother, because Mother is the main, or it's not Mother in your case, it's Apollo, but either way, Apollo being the main AI that controls the entire ship, basically access to any of the ship's functions can be handled through the Apollo room. Now you'll look around, you'll see that there are terminals in different places. There's one in medical, there's one in science, there's actually one in cryo, which has some limited capabilities, but they're all somewhat insulated. For instance, the terminal in medical doesn't have access to the ship sensors, right? You would do that from the bridge, whereas in Apollo, you have access to everything essentially. Yeah, you wouldn't use the bridge terminal to check medical data from someone who's in sick bay, but you could do it from Apollo or from the terminal in medical. So, could you set the ship to self-destruct in Apollo? Absolutely, you could, because Apollo lets you have access to just about everything. So,
And since we have access to Apollo and we're not hacking, we don't necessarily have to do a ComTech roll, but there might be certain things where you do.
right.
You said maintenance, for example.
Yes. So the ship requires weekly electronic maintenance as well as mechanical maintenance. That can be done from either the bridge or the Apollo room, either place.
So that's a point of question for everybody. What's everyone's ComTech dice?
Mine's pretty good. I have 7, 8.
That's really good.
Yeah, mine's really good too. Not that as good as that, but I get a +2 for a device I bought, so I get 5.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I only have 4.
Okay.
Did everybody more or less do what we talked about and like juice up a second stat category so we're kind of like good at 2 things? I followed that model. It was hang on. I had my best stat is wits, and then I put 2 in all of the wits stats, but I also have good empathy and dumped 2 into medical aid, so I have something else that I'm good at. I know we talked about it. I didn't know if everybody tried to do some kind of overlap like that.
Well, I tried to do something similar. My roughneck strength is his main thing, and I've dumped 3 into heavy machinery and 2 into close combat. 1 into stamina, so that, and then similar to that, I put 4 in agility and 1 in ranged combat and 1 in piloting. So if something happens, I have a 5 piloting dice and I have 5 ranged combat dice. So I kind of backed up a protection, kind of protect the team kind of.
You can do some damage and help us get out of there if you need to.
Yeah. So that's my main thing. I've got, like I said, I got 3 in wits, so there's 1 in comtech just in case I had to do
Cool.
something. But it sounds like we have enough guys with that.
Actually, what you're doing sounds like a good idea to me, just to give each other a little overview of our characters so we have an idea of what we can rely on. It might be a good time to do that.
Yeah, that's absolutely. In fact, we really should do a short intro for each character, because you guys have to assign buddies and rivals, too.
Oh, shit, that's right.
That's true.
So why don't we just start with, let's do that. I'm sorry, we kind of skipped that step. Dr. Jake Sinclair,
When
tell
did
us about
Jesse?
you.
I'm sorry. When did Jesse say he was coming?
He said he's running a little late. He'll be here shortly.
Should we wait or?
Yeah, we can do that. We can get some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. So who's going to do the Comtech maintenance role? Is that Dr. Roman?
I've got 7 for that. So
I also have 7. I don't mind doing it either way. I would presume that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We're not in like prep to take off, so it's not like the pilot can't go do something for a few minutes.
Well, and then,
actually, I got 9 in that. Holy crap!
The maintenance does take a shift, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Whoever does it will be tied up for about 6 hours.
Then in that case, I would volunteer to do it. I think I'm probably the second best Comtech person.
All right.
Let's
All right.
see.
So make your way to the bridge and go ahead and make that roll.
How we doing?
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So it didn't fall apart.
No, it didn't fall apart. So you're on the bridge doing that.
Actually, the worst thing with any system, especially AI system, are passive, undiscovered errors, not known failures. It can be the end of you.
Excellent. We don't know what we don't know.
That's right. All right. So Jake, you went and got your hot cup of tea to help shake off the effects of cryo. What are you doing after that?
After that, I'll just go to Science Lab.
Okay. All right, which is on the other side of the ship over there.
And then just
All right. And what are you doing while you're over there?
puttering around, making sure that everything is up and running, nothing broke while we were asleep, taking stock, that kind of thing.
Okay, very good. All right, Rudy and Max, you guys went to the bridge. Of course, Dr. Roman, once he got his shit together, he followed you, and he climbed onto one of the terminals, checking Apollo's systems and all the electronics. What would you two like to do?
We need to know if we actually arrived where we were supposed to, so I'm going to do a scan of the system and make sure where we're at.
Okay.
Where we're supposed to.
All right.
So that would be, I'm not sure which one that would be. That'd be Comtech, because I'd be working with the nav system.
Correct. That would be Comtech, and
Can I assist him with this task as well?
you can, and the ship has boosted, has enhanced sensors, so you gain a +2 for that as well.
Oh my god, I'll have 11 for that then. Because I have a Seekson SDB, which gives me a +2, and
that's specifically for hacking and getting into computer systems.
Is it?
Yep. The Seekson Systems Diagnostics device. It's for hacking and repairing computers.
I thought that initially too, and then I read it, and when you read the narrative, it says what you just said, but don't tell anybody. It's ancillary feature.
All right, yeah, I'll let you go. It's fine. Go ahead.
We can adjust that. I read it as it being Yeah, system. Yeah, to troubleshoot computer and mechanical systems for space station.
Yeah, you're not really troubleshooting.
Okay, yeah, so I would use it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just for troubleshooting. So I have a 7 on that then.
And you get +2 for the ship and +1 for Rudy's help.
Okay, so that's so I get 4 on top of my base scout.
Good God Almighty! Wow, 3 successes. All right, so obviously you're successful in your comtech roll. You have 2 stunts. What would you like to?
I will. I will look for new and unexpected information.
Okay. All right. And then you got 1 other stunt.
I will not have to roll. Nope, I'll take a +1 to a later roll, a related roll.
Very good. So the 2 of you working together, doing some quick inquiries with Apollo, and then getting the ship scans up. Apollo reports that it arrived at the target parsec as expected, and immediately diverted you to a system that is known as AvPvE. AvPvE, and the reason it diverted you to AvPvE is because Apollo's algorithms determined that it had the highest percentage chance of terrestrial planets, which is what you're after. The system, your scans very quickly tell you that it is, and you are in system, it is what we call an MV-K star type, which is an orange-red dwarf. And the system itself, it's a fairly standard sized system with a total of 9 planets. Scanning through, they're not too different from like the Sol system, from the standpoint that the outer 2 planets are relatively small. They look like they're frozen worlds. And then you've got planets 3 through 7 are different kinds and sizes of gas giants. And then planets 1 and 2 are terrestrial. Number 1 being a relatively small, thin atmosphere planet very close to the sun. But the second one is terrestrial and is it's the proper size and distance that it should be a life viable planet. Now, as your contract with the UA really requires that you do some in-depth scans and catalogings of each individual world, but in terms of new and unexplained information, your sensors actually pick up, even at this range, something on planet 2. And when it does, Apollo pops up an alert on your terminal. And I'm going to show you what that is. You should now see a handout that says sensor alert.
Or not?
You don't see that?
Nothing popped up for me. Ah, there it goes.
Okay, sorry.
Metallic mass detected.
Yeah, alert refined metallic mass detected.
Rudy gets on the intercom. Crew to the bridge, please. Crew to the bridge.
Okay. Well, Dwayne is in the process of doing his
Maintenance.
heavy machinery, so he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah. I'll respond in the middle of this maintenance. You guys can fill me in when I'm finished.
10-4.
All right, so Vickers comes up to the bridge as well.
All right, doctors. Fill them in on what we've discovered. Fill them in on the evident metallic mass on planet 2.
Yeah, if you were... Yeah, and you guys decide how you want to go about this. You do have a total of 9 planets to catalog here, which to go through and get all the information that your contract calls for would take about a shift of work. It also will take about a shift to get. If you wanted to head straight to Planet 2, it would take a shift to get there. So you could kind of do those things simultaneously, if that's what you wanted to do.
So it's saying that we're going to do a round robin, all the planets, and do a quick survey of each on the way to. Would take one shift then.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's my vote.
Sounds good.
All right.
That's also what I would want to do.
Okay.
All right, let's
Head to
do
Planet
that.
2. Let them know.
Marty, where on the map
construct.
is our solar system? I can't find. You said we were kind of east of Arcturus. I can't even find Arcturus.
Okay. Arcturus, if you look at, oh, you know what? Arcturus does not show on the core rulebook map. I apologize. Hold on one second. Let me pull
Yeah,
that
be kidding me. With all that, Arcturian lore, they don't even put it on the map, huh?
Yeah, you have to look at the CMOM book. You have to look at the CMOM book.
Oh,
for,
the Colonial Marines one?
Yeah, for Arcturus.
Oh, wait, I do have that one.
Give me 1 second. Well, I'll tell you, if you look at the map, in the center of the map, you see the numbers counting up as you go to the right, and that's the direction coreward. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see it on the Colonials one.
Okay. Okay. So you see Arcturus there. So if you go about 5 parsecs to the right of Arcturus, you should find you will find the sector that you're in.
Okay,
There's actually-
so... Oh, there it is.
There's actually a little star right there, like kind of brightly on the map. I'm going to
So-
take that to be your position.
That's
Okay, so we got Alpha Bodies is where Arcturus is, right?
correct.
And you said to say you got any coordinates from there?
Yeah, if you go 5 parsecs, pretty much due right of that, you will find your position. There's no star system actually listed on the map.
Yeah, there's just there's like one little star that's out by itself.
Correct.
That's
Are we assuming that's it?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, I know where I'm at now.
Very good.
Always a good thing.
All right. So I'm not going to require a piloting role from you, Jim, to pilot your way through the system. That seems pretty mundane and easy to do. Of course, it will occupy your time. Who is going to be doing the planetary survey scans?
That should probably be one of our scientists, though.
I would guess so. Is that going to be a Comtech thing?
That would be a Comtech thing with a +2 from the ship's enhanced sensors.
Okay.
And obviously, you can get help on that.
Probably one of us should do it, and the other should help, and then get the sensors assistant.
Yeah. Oh, I'll assist.
Okay.
So I should do Comtech +3.
Correct.
See how we do. I can't actually see the roll.
Neither can I.
Neither can I.
Neither can I.
That's weird.
Incredible. I'll do it again.
Okay.
That's weird.
I haven't seen that happen yet.
Nah, let me reload.
That's
Although I think that just reloaded my comms. Hang on a second.
just when you think Roll20 can not find something new to do for you. There it go. Holy crap.
You know what I think it is? It's because I put the plus sign in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because when you do that, it only rolls stress, and you had no stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So you have 3 successes, sir, or 3 stunts, sir. What would you like to do with those 3 stunts?
Man,
Let me see what I can do.
Half the time, new and unexpected information, +1 bonus to future Comtech rolls, automatic success on a comparable roll later.
Well, since we're heading for Planet 2, the first thing I'd like to do is get some new and unexpected information about Planet 2.
Okay.
Ideally about the mass, but we're just scanning.
Okay. All right. So that's one stunt. You have two more.
I would also take a new and unexpected piece of information more generally about what, because we're scanning all the planets, right?
Yes.
And I will take a +1 to a later comtech roll.
Okay. Very good. We can do that. All right. So just cataloging through the planets really quickly. Number 9 is a nice planet with about a 4,000 kilometer diameter, so not very big. Has no atmosphere. It is frozen. Has a mean temperature of -80 Celsius. It's just a lifeless rock. Planet number 8 is virtually identical, except it's half the size. It's only 2,000 kilometers diameter, which makes it smaller than some moons you guys have seen, to be sure.
Not sure that's technically a planet. Then.
No, it's probably more of a planetoid, but it's in the 8th orbit, so...
Okay.
That's okay. We can call it Pluto.
That's right. That's right. Number 7 is a gas giant. 100,000 kilometers in diameter. It's gigantic. Interestingly enough, it's got a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere. It's actually breathable, but it's very cold, roughly, a mean of -20 degrees Celsius. This planet has a couple dozen moons of mixed types, some gas, some terrestrial, different types of atmospheres and temperatures. But just in general, you feel like it represents substantial mining capabilities. Not only gas but terrestrial as well. Just there's a lot going on there. It would need probably more time, if that makes sense. But it does have several terrestrial moons as well. Planet number 6 is a much smaller gas giant, 13,000 kilometers in diameter, also cold, with a toxic methane atmosphere. And it seems to have heavy storms that circulate through its atmosphere as well. This one also has 2 moons. One is a volcanic terrestrial moon, and the other is also terrestrial, but also has a toxic methane atmosphere. So there's a lot of potential for methane collection and that type of thing, high energy gas mining, perhaps. Planet 5 is a gas giant, 20,000 kilometers diameter, 220 degrees Celsius, with a corrosive atmosphere, highly corrosive. Recommend no ships enter the atmosphere. Number 4 is a gas giant, 30,000 kilometers, very dense, about 100 degrees Celsius, so very hot, but obviously boiling roughly, but not as hot as number 5. Number 3 is a toxic gas giant, roughly 200 degrees Celsius. And then we get to planets 1 and 2. I'll explain planet number 1 first. Planet number 1 is terrestrial, 7,000 kilometers in diameter, very thin atmosphere, hot, mean temperature 100 degrees Celsius. It looks like it's covered with arid global deserts. Not much of interest there. Number 2 is 10,000 kilometers. That's the one where the system detected the refined metallic mass. It is a breathable atmosphere. It is very temperate, a mean 20 degrees Celsius. The surface is about 3/5 water. Overall, very Earth-like with a wide range of biomes. In terms of new and unexpected information, you pick up as you're scanning and you lock onto the area where the refined metallic mass is, you pick up another alert. Pops up on a monitor. You should see it now.
Yep.
All right. So radiation detected around the metallic mass?
Correct. Near it.
Or near it, okay. Did they give you Does the sensor tell you how much radiation? Is it?
You would probably have to get within the atmosphere to get actually make planetfall and to get some specific measurements.
How big is the metallic mass? Can we tell from here? Is it ship-sized, or is this like much bigger?
The metallic mass. That's a very good question. Very very good question. In fact, the metallic mass is overall about 80 meters square, and it is on the surface itself on one of the northern continents.
So this could be potentially a derelict of some kind.
So
What's the likelihood that it's a habitation?
I'm assuming that we have some kind of standard operating procedures when we do this, since we've been doing it for a while, right?
Well, your contract is relatively new, but to answer your question, your contract specifically calls for you to make a complex survey of every planet in the system, specifically identifying life viable worlds, and you're supposed to investigate any anomalies or abnormalities, just in general things that shouldn't be where they are.
Got
Which
it.
you're a good 5 parsecs past the frontier, so there really should not be a refined metallic mass
Right.
on a planet.
Right. Right.
Let's
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
hailing just in case this isn't some kind of habitation that isn't unregistered. Like we've got some kind
Sure.
of hermitage out here. Would Dr. Mitchell, since he's doing comm stuff, like to try to contact them?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I don't need a roll for that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how all the ship systems work. That's just trying to open up a line to them, so I'm good with that. Who do we lose? Did you guys lose me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting here talking, then all of a sudden everyone starts reconnecting. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
We could see your volume thing going, but couldn't hear you or see you talking.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, there's no need for a Comtech roll to that. I mean, it's just using a basic ship system, so, just after you, sir.
Yeah, so I will raise up. Hang on a second here. What are we called again?
Player campaign.
Magellan.
SS Magellan.
SS Magellan.
Um,
So I'm just going to radio out and say, this is the SS Magellan, attempting to reach anyone who might be receiving this signal. Do I have a way of describing our position? I realize we just got here and don't really know our way around.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you figure it out.
I would use whatever our given planetary coordinates and naming system is. So, just on the chance that it's somebody out there who, even UPP knows UA terminology.
Absolutely.
So I would reach out and say it's the SS Magellan. We are a science vessel acting on behalf of the United Americas, and we're reaching out to see if anyone's receiving this signal. We're outside of Planet 2 in orbit, picking up radiation and refined metallic signals.
There is no reply.
No, but he's recorded my voice now.
I don't know what you're talking about, but there is no reply.
we have the ability to scan for other frequencies being used on the surface.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So I think I'm going to use the system to see if anybody's talking to each other on the planet.
Okay,
any
make a
space
Comtech roll.
communication. And I get a +1 to my next roll.
Right.
No, I'll let that +1.
Okay. And you have 2 successes. What would you like to do with your stunt?
Unexpected information again.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So you are picking up a very low level, weak radio signal. You can't make it out. It's just not strong enough to hold its resolution while penetrating the atmosphere. You think you would have to break through the atmosphere and make planetfall to hear it. However, as far as new and unexpected information, it is coming from a frequency which is standard with a UPP colony beacon.
Is it repeating or is it?
Can't tell.
Can't tell. It's just there is something. So people are talking to each other, or somebody or something is transmitting something for planet-side communications.
Correct.
All right. Are there any other
UPP
tasks?
in their secret colonies.
It could be. Is anybody, any other scientists have any other tasks they could do at this level of altitude that we would have to finish up before going planetfall?
If nobody has anything they want to do, we can fast forward to that.
We're still waiting for Jesse to do our backgrounds.
Yeah, getting a little concerned about him because unfortunately I don't know much about his character's back. Oh, he sent me a message. Hold on. He sent me a message. This isn't time stamped. I got a message from him saying headed home probably 20 to 30 minutes till I'm on, but it's not time stamped as to how long ago it was. It just says
All
today.
right.
Oh, 10:35 a.m. Oh, so he should be on any time.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you guys, when I finished my maintenance, you filled me in on what was going on.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's safe to
All
assume.
right. So it's important you guys know part of my backstory then, because of what you just figured out. Dwayne doesn't have any family. They were all killed by UPP incursion to the colony where they lived. So he's got a hell of a grudge against everything UPP. Just so you know. And he's been a roughneck since he left home. He left home at 17, wanted to get away, see the universe, not the world, but the universe and the galaxy, and left home when he's 17. So he's been a roughneck for, a decade and a half. So he's pretty skilled at what he does.
I was just
We'll do more later, but I thought you should have the backstory since we just heard that the radio comms were on a UPP frequency.
Yeah, I was just going to ask for clarification if the UPP was likely to outright attack a UA affiliated vessel, which seems probably unlikely, just right off the bat. But I guess one of our crew members may attack UPP personnel if he gets the chance.
Well, they're at this point in the timeline, the UA UPP frontier war is going on. Okay, however, your designation as SS has you as technically an independent starship. So even though you're under contract by the UA, you're not necessarily UA specifically. So there's that. But even with the frontier war going on, the frontier war is not an all-out war by any means, so it doesn't necessarily stand to reason that UPP destroyer and UA frigate would automatically attack each other on sight. It just would depend on the situation is the best way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not a military vessel, so that helps.
And to clarify, Dwayne doesn't want to kill every UPP person he sees. It's just that
He hates them as an entity.
as an entity, and he's going to look at any UPP activities with the stink eye.
And did Roman, when he sent out that radio check, did you announce that anything about the UPP that we were affiliated, or just did you say we were just?
I would have been forwarding along any new details that I get to the rest of the crew. So when I found the metallic mass, I'd let you know. radiation, I'd let you know. And I don't think I was actually the one who came up with the UPP signal information. That was
yeah, that was Max. That was
yeah,
Jim.
yeah, that was your info.
Yeah,
tried-
right. What I'm
Who
asking.
tried to do the contact? Was that
Yeah, who hailed?
I tried to hail, but then Jim discovered that
All right.
there's a UPP related signal, and
All right.
we didn't get any response from our outreach.
Right, but did you announce us as being affiliated with
Yeah.
UA?
He
Yes,
did.
Oh, okay. Shit. Okay.
Cat's out of that bag.
Oh well.
Well, I figure the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to ask us to identify ourselves.
It's a
So, I
valid
mean,
statement.
we could have sat there and lied, but we're pretty far away to be bluffing. Kind of out
Right.
our phone.
Right.
we sorry, I just suddenly got a scene in my head of Captain Rudy going, "We are a heavily armed battleship. Don't come near us. We will destroy you. You guys have no weapons whatsoever."
Right.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. All right. My apologies. What's the plan, gentlemen?
Well, I suggest we should make planetfall drop down close enough to into the atmosphere so that we can pick up what those radio signals are, if they're active or not, maybe if they're just being transmitted. I don't know about getting too low so that they could see us, but we could do a flyby, Prometheus style.
Does our ship have a suite of probes or things like that we can make initial?
I don't. Let me look here. I've got.
Not in the not in the technology of the alien verse, unfortunately.
No problem.
Yeah,
So
no, we
just
don't have
do
a
it
pro. We
professionally,
just-
but right now we're not even in orbit, right?
No, you're on approach.
So
Yeah.
okay, first things first. Let's get closer, and when we get into orbit, we'll see if we can't refine our information. See if we can detect anything more with the side of the mass and radiation. See if we can pick up any more radio signals, and that'll give us an opportunity to also broadcast another signal stating that we're in orbit, because we don't want to step on anybody's toes, especially if if there's people there, and this is whatever this is, whether it's an official UPP thing or not, it's not on the books, so it's off the books. So as an officer with many years of experience, Rudy is nervous about this, because this can't be a good thing, right? Like, if there's people down there talking on the radio, they don't want to be seen, so we don't want to come in here looking aggressive.
Maybe they ship just crashed and they can't get up.
I do think that's a possibility. There's possibilities. I'm not saying that it is for sure some illicit thing. I'm just saying there's the possibility for it to be that, right? It could be
Right.
like you said, a crash ship. Somebody needs help. It could be nothing at all. I don't know.
A flyby would answer a lot of those questions.
Well, let's get closer and let's dip our toes and see.
All right.
I'm on it. So, we're at the point for a piloting roll to enter the atmosphere?
If you're going to go ahead and make planetfall, or if you're just going to jump into orbit right now, there's no need for that. Was the idea to get into orbit and try to make one more scan?
That's
If-
my
Made
suggestion.
planetfall?
That's what I thought we were discussing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know whether sensors could penetrate the atmosphere from orbit.
Maybe they don't.
Let's give it a try.
We'll see.
All right. So let's have someone make that scan then, with a +2 from the ship sensors.
So yeah, again, I get 9.
Can the
And I'll-
captain assist?
Yeah, up
Yeah.
to 2 people can assist. So
Okay. So I get a +2 for the ship sensors. Anybody else giving me help would just give me a +1, right?
Bob and Rudy both. So, or excuse me, Sinclair and Rudy both. So that'd be an additional +2. So a total of 4.
Okay. Total 4.
Wow.
All right, here
That's a
we
lot
go.
of dice.
It is.
These characters aren't min-maxed at all.
You've
two
been killing us over
successes.
6 different adventures. We're gonna
Yeah,
get some
yeah.
new mech.
Well, this is campaign play. The idea is that you're not going to die right away, so that's not a bad thing. So, you have a stunt. What would you like to do with it?
New and unexpected information. Stand by.
Seems to be the standard move here. All right, so I your in terms of additional scans and just tell you everything combined with the stunt. Um, you're picking up. It's not just a refined metallic mass. I mean, there's steel, there's titanium, there is plastisteel. There's a number of man-made objects or man-made materials, I should say, confined to that 80 meter square area. Um, your gut reaction based on the materials that are there and the amounts is that it's probably some form of colony. Now, in terms of the radiation is centered about the worst part of the radiation is about a kilometer to the northeast of the colony. Okay. Um, if you were in the heart of that, in terms of game terms, you would gain a point of radiation every round. Okay, the colony itself, or what you think is the colony, has low level radiation, which, from the standpoint of in-game terms, without protection, you would gain a point of radiation per shift, which is not terrible, but doesn't necessarily mean you want to outright expose yourself to it if you can avoid it. Because radiation does have an effect on you. While you have, in terms of the game mechanics, because we haven't really dealt with radiation before, if you don't have a radiation suit or a pressure suit or a space suit, when you have radiation, you are unable to regain health or reduce stress while you have radiation points. So it's something to be avoided.
Guys, I got to step away for 1 second to help family with printers and stuff. Hold on.
Okay. In fact, let's get out the big book. Big book. Get a little more specific details on the way radiation operates. Yeah. Weak radiation has 1 rad per shift. Every time you gain a radiation point, you must roll dice equal to your current total number of rads. For every success, you take 1 point of damage. If you are broken by radiation damage, you must make a death roll each time you get another rad until you're removed from the hotspot. You cannot recover health in any way. After you leave the irradiated area, you heal 1 rad per shift. So, something to be avoided.
Let's try not to do that.
So it sounds like what we're hearing you say is that this is not conducive to life.
Not long term. Like I said, the radiation is much stronger about a kilometer northeast of the masses that you're picking up on the sensors. So the whole area has low level radiation, but obviously your spaceship, while you're inside it, would protect you, as well as your pressure suits. So you could get out of the ship and be exposed to low level radiation, which isn't the end of the world, or you could avoid it by wearing your pressure suits.
I suppose my comment was more directed towards like this habitation can't be. I mean,
If there's anybody there, they're being constantly subjected to low levels of radiation unless they have a shielded area.
Which,
all right, let's make a radio transmission asking if there's anybody that needs assistance. And Dwayne, do you know of anything that could cause something like this in terms of like a power plant failure or some other, or even like a ship reactor?
well, there's a number of
explosion?
things that could cause it, but yes, they could have had the reactor that services the colony could have overloaded. Um, somebody could have taken the could have fired a weapon that maybe missed the colony but was close enough to blanket the area in contamination. Um, there's a number of items that could have happened here. Um, without having a little more information, I can't know what it was, but I wouldn't. Let me say it a different way. It seems like it might be a bad day for their reactor. Although, on the other hand, a lot of colonies put their reactors in colony but underground, so why would this one be a click away from the colony if that's what happened? So I'd say let's call down, like you said, I suggested, let's call down and see if anyone needs assistance, and maybe use the frequencies that you scanned that they were using.
Let's do that.
All right.
I guess Dr. Mitchell was the man on the comms, right?
So we are now issuing like a reverse SOS. Does anybody down there need help?
Right. I mean, it's the perfect non-threatening reason for our approach. And on top of that, we legitimately have reason for concern. There's some kind of radio transmission, and there's a very high radiation level. So maybe somebody's trying to call out for help. We'll start at this altitude, and if we don't get anything, we can move closer.
So would this be, if I get some help from Jake, would this be the same?
I wouldn't make you make a Comtech roll for that.
Yeah, not to use.
Okay, yeah, then I'm gonna do the call and just announce this again. This is the SS Magellan. We are radioing to find out if anyone needs help. We have reason to believe there may have been some kind of disaster. Does anyone need our assistance?
All right. You wait for a few moments, maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds. There's no reply.
Shrug and look around, shake my
All
head.
right. Well, we can repeat that signal a few times and have Max bring us in.
All right. All right. So when you're ready, Max Decker, which is a great name, by the way, go ahead and make your
Max is always ready to pilot. All right, so all right, piloting. I don't think this ship has any upgrades for piloting skills, so I'll just do the straight roll.
Yep. And you've got your don't you have a talent for that?
I do.
You +2 when you're piloting this ship.
Oh, thank you for that. Yes, because I know it like the back of my hand, so I get a
That's
+2 to this. So yes, I do get a +2.
All right.
Yeah, these bonuses are like spread out all over the place. Yeah, right up there. Yeah, just really good. Why am I?
Thank God for bonuses.
Wait a second. Hey,
What's that?
did it roll? Okay, no, nobody else has been rolling, right? So that's why I have all these rolls. I got confused. So yeah, I got one success.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So, yeah, you announce that you're making planetfall. You begin to pilot her in. Everybody knows what that means. They all strap in, and you're able to penetrate the atmosphere without any substantial issues. Hey, there's Jesse.
Excuse me, guys. Are we in the pipe 5x5 right now?
We're in the pipe 5x5.
Excellent.
I'm going to guess, because we have to every time Jesse logs on, I'm going to guess we have to reconnect. Jesse?
He's muted for now.
Yes.
There we go.
Hey, buddy. All right. So, we'll give Jesse a quick 3-minute overview. Jesse, you guys awoke from cryo. You're on your contract for the UA to survey systems and find life viable planets. Apollo had directed you guys to a system called Alpha Casea 2, And in scanning it, you determine that the system has 9 planets. At least one of them is life viable. In fact, it's almost perfect. Your sensors picked up a refined metallic mass. As you moved in, you guys completed some additional scans of the system, got some more information on that planet. The refined metallic mass is more than just a metallic mass. It's steel, it's titanium, it's plasteel, it's glass. It's a lot of man-made stuff in an 80 meter by 80 meter area. And there's also low-level radiation across the area, which is actually centered a kilometer northeast from the center of the metallic mass, and in that area, it's very high radiation. So, but where you guys are headed, you're kind of detecting low radiation, and
So we found an unusual mass that appears to be man-made next to a planet, and we've also detected a planet that's just too perfect.
well, that's true. The planet is absolutely perfect. It is 20 degrees Celsius mean temperature, very temperate, 60% water. Yeah, it's
And there was a faint radio signal coming from the area
correct.
using an UPP channel.
Yeah, but they couldn't pick it up unless they broke through the atmosphere, which Jim just made his piloting roll to make planetfall.
We've made multiple hails asking if they need assistance, and nobody's replied.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't decided the land yet. Our next move was to do a flyby to see what we could see.
Yep.
We are
So
Do we
proceeding
know the day-night cycle of this planet yet?
you do not. Well, you probably could have made some very quick determinations because you did survey the whole system. It looks like it has a relatively fast year of about 180 Earth days, and the soul or the day night cycle. It's got a total of 21 hours to complete a revolution. So let's do this really quickly. Let's start from left to right. We'll start with Jesse as Vickers. Let's get a brief explanation of everybody's character. We held off on that till you got here, Jesse, because I didn't know what to say about you. So
Thank you. I apologize. I had to get a hepatitis B vaccination. A titer came back really low. All right. So, Vickers is a young young medic. No military background or service. Kind of raised in a family that kind of grew up on service, and has a brother who was deployed as a corporal in the United States Colonial Marine. But he was, took the more pacifistic route, if you will. Wanted to just try his hand at what medicine he could and see how he could help people. Really motivated about keeping everyone kind of up and moving about, although he's a little tight-lipped about his brother these days.
all right, very good. Bob, tell us about Jake Sinclair, please.
Jake is a 6 foot, 170 pounds, 55-year-old man, graying blonde hair, wiry build. He's basically an introvert and gets excited about anything biological or scientific. He often plays with Rubik's cubes, and they are often littered through the ship. That's about it.
All right, very good. Rudy.
Annika Rudat, called Rudy, is a middle-aged athletic woman known for her outgoing personality. She's very friendly, easy to talk to kind of person. She is a career, what you would call frontier ship's captain. She eschews service in like governmental agencies or corporations in favor of living out here in the middle of nowhere, sort of doing wild card stuff like this, exploration. She's done courier work. She's captained exploration vessels in the past. but freelancing is her thing. As far as her personal history, she doesn't appear to have any romantic liaisons. Though maybe she had somebody special in the past. She doesn't seem to want to talk about that too much. What else? She's very handy with her sidearm. She likes to uh, do target practice once you guys have made plan to fall with her. That's like her pastime that she enjoys. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, very good. Max Decker.
All right, Max Decker. Let me hold on one second here. I wanted to unzoom this so I can get to my. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay, so Max. I'll read what I wrote. I think it covers most everything. Max gained his pilot license at a young age. He comes from a wealthy shipping family, so he was able to do that, before he could drive a hover car. He didn't want to work for the family business as an executive. He had a sense of adventure, so he started out working long haul space trucker jobs for a number of years, and but got tired pretty quickly of the departure, cryo sleep, cryo wake, and arrival. A 2 year haul of whatever they were hauling, you may only experience about 6 hours of that because less rest of it is just cryo sleep. So he didn't like that very much. So he looked and found this group of people that wanted to start up their own company for survey. He likes that a lot more because you're not sleeping the whole time or docking at some place over and over and over again. So he so now he feels a rush when he wakes up from cryo just outside his system, and realizes he may be the first human to lay eyes on it, which gives him a lot of pleasure. He doesn't understand what all the scientists do, but his job above everything else is keeping the ship safe because the ship will keep its passengers safe. So he looks at it almost as an extension of his own family. So that's Max Decker.
All right. Dwayne Dunning.
All right. Well, Dwayne Dunning, he's the roughneck of the team. He's about 6 foot, very muscular, strong build. He's in really good shape. He's in his early 30s, and he's put his life savings into this enterprise. So he's all in. He's got no family. They were all killed by a UPP incursion on the colony where they lived, but he had left that colony when he was 17 to get out in the world. And by the way, he's got a lot of experience as a roughneck in maintaining ships and maintaining machinery, some of that on some ships piloted by Max Decker. And so they have a small history, although, again, with all the cryo sleep and stuff, it's not dramatic. And he's extremely loyal to the group, and he, besides maintaining the ship, his goal is to do whatever he can to keep everyone safe and together. Again, he's all in on the Enterprise.
All right, very good. And Dr. Roman.
Dr. Mitchell Roman is a geneticist in his late 30s or early 40s. He is involved with the Magellan like everybody else for money. This course of exploration suits his field very well. Obviously, a biologist and a geneticist is important if you're out there searching for planets to support new life. So Dr. Roman concerns himself primarily with sequencing the genomes of newly identified species. Obviously, there's no shortage out there when we go around exploring. He is also interested in attempting to solve the mysteries surrounding a rare degenerative disease that's popped up throughout the core systems and some of the colonies, and is interested in possibly trying to find sources of that. But for now, he's primarily here as a genetics expert who tries to help us to understand the new species that we discover.
All right, very good. So, of course, this is a little tough for you guys maybe to figure out right now, but go ahead and assign a buddy and a rival on your character sheet based on the information that you guys all just heard. Now, this is not static. You'll have the opportunity to change it after every scenario. So, because as the game moves on, we may find that changes. And again, keeping in mind, rival doesn't mean you necessarily hate each other. In fact, you may not even dislike each other. There's plenty of rivals in history that have been friends, but were professional rivals or rivals over a woman.
Oh, healthy
or
competition.
Absolutely.
How many guys do you know that have to compete at everything, no matter what you're doing?
It's a true statement.
I
bet I know more guys than you that are like that.
No way, I know more than
I know
you.
the most.
One of the hardest examples I think I ever heard was the two real people who they used as the basis of the two major competing gangsters in The Wire came out after the fact and were like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff back in the 80s, but we've actually been friends for decades. We know each other. Yeah, maybe some people shot at each other, but not me and him directly. It's like one of those weird things where it's like these guys like each other, but they do, or at least according to them.
Sure. Well, looking at music, Metallica kicked out Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine probably held that against Metallica for a long, long, long time, but now the fans are holding on to it more than those guys are. They're all in their 50s or 60s, and it's water under the bridge to them. So, all right. So you made your piloting roll for Planetfall as you make your way through the atmosphere. So Max was going to do a flyover to see what you guys can see. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's what I thought we discussed.
Yeah.
We're also trying to pick up on their radio comms.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as you make your way through the atmosphere, you actually are able to start to pick up that signal pretty clearly. It's a woman's voice. I'm going to pause the ambient sound for a second there as this message plays.
Мы переживаем биологическую
It's a little staticky.
вспышку неизвестного происхождения. Нам нужна медицинская и научная помощь. Примите все необходимые и карантинные меры предосторожности. Повторить. Это колония Союза прогрессивных людей на Альфа-Кассея-2. Мы переживаем биологическую вспышку.
Ruskies in space?
It is definitely Dwayne. You recognize it. So do you, Vickers and Roman. It's definitely Russian. Do any of you speak Russian?
Not
I.
Russian.
Let's see. Yeah, nobody speaks Russian.
You gave us the chance.
I did, but it's
You
definitely
pushed
Russian.
it too.
It's definitely Russian, and as you listen to it, while none of you speak Russian, you don't understand the words. As you listen to it, you realize this message just continues on and on and on and on, and there's definitely pauses where sentences end, but then there's one pause that's about 5 seconds, and then the message just keeps going on and on. You're fairly certain it's repeating, even though you don't understand what it's saying. After you listen to it for a minute, you get the cadence of it. It definitely sounds like a repeating message.
Can we run it through the ship?
You know what? That's smart. I like that. Since you asked the question, Vickers, why don't you click on Apollo and have Apollo make a comtech roll?
Oh goodness.
Oh. I didn't know Apollo could make a contact roll.
Apollo has a character sheet.
Apollo is a success. Holy
Look at that.
shit!
Nice.
All right.
Google Translate for the win.
Yeah, that's right.
You should give us the broken Google Translate version of it.
Yeah, that's
Or better
That
yet,
would
because
be
this is
funny.
Apollo, give us Bing Translate.
yeah, that's right. Bing Translate.
Maybe.
Take too long to type in. That's okay. So it. Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh, nothing I need to look at. Repeat. This is the Union of Progressive Peoples Colony on Alpha Casea 2. We are experiencing a biological outbreak of unknown origin. We are in need of medical and scientific assistance. Take all necessary and quarantine precautions. Repeat, this is the Union of Progressive People Colony on Alpha Casea 2. We are experiencing a biological outbreak of unknown origin. We are in need, etc., etc. That's just what it says over and over.
Let's do another comm check with them at this level to see if anybody in there can read us.
All right. Yep, there is no answer.
At this point, it seems like the picture that's starting to emerge, hypothetically, is that there's been some kind of biological outbreak and maybe a nuclear eradication of that biological outbreak.
So, as you do your flyover, it's definitely a small colony. It is roughly, like I said, it's roughly 80 meters square, give or take, maybe. It, in fact, well, actually, I should do this. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're doing a flyover. Why doesn't everyone just make observation rolls and I'll tell you what you see based on that? I mean, everybody, I'm sure someone's going to succeed enough for me to share all the info, but yeah, there's one from Vickers, two from Jake Sinclair. Oh, yeah, you guys are fine. Yeah, you guys didn't short the observation. Okay, even Dwayne Dunning. So it's definitely a fairly standard looking colony. It has a wall around it, a plasteel wall that is it's one of those prefab jobs. It's about 6 meters tall, maybe 15, 20 feet. And the colony itself, it's or I should say, to the northeast, about a kilometer northeast of the colony, there is actually a blast radius. The colony is situated on the edge of a forest, and the forest stretches out all around the north and east of the colony, and that forest has been destroyed to the northeast of the colony, like I said, in about a kilometer diameter. The blast radius looks like it even touched the northeast edge of the colony. And there is a large landing pad, large enough to accept your vessel, about a half kilometer west of the colony.
As we observe the crater, the blast radius, that is to say, could we determine if this originated underground? In other words, is there like a deep crater at the center, or was this like something that detonated on the surface?
Based on Jake's two successes, I'll give you that information. No, it looks like some sort of explosive device was set off above ground. Because it's not as much a crater as it is that all of the woods and forest foliage have just been eradicated. With the
So this
exception
was
of
a
some of the
deliberate-
biggest, thickest trees.
Points to like a deliberate detonation.
Well, could be accidental, but either way, it was above ground. It certainly
Seems
not-
like the colony was trying to blow something up.
Yeah,
And
I'm
an
kind of
airburst.
thinking that- I'm kind of
And an
thinking that
airburst.
way because I feel like if this was accidental, it would be their power source, or possibly like their ship or something like that. But there's nothing on the landing pad to denote that.
And we'd also still getting that receiving message. I'm not sure we'd get that if
Yeah, I
it
was
was
gonna
the power
ask.
source.
Exactly. I was going to ask if there are other signs of power usage, like lights being on and things like that.
I don't know that you could tell that much in a flyby, if that makes sense.
Well, I do agree with what Jesse said just now. Like I don't think this radio would be on repeat if they had no power anymore. So I'm thinking,
Yeah, because
you know,
emergency power, there'd be no chance the signal would go anywhere.
I'm definitely thinking that they set this on purpose. So now that begs the question:
What
have
were
they
the
been
words of
down
that
there?
message exactly? Biological.
Biological contaminant. It's some type of infection. It said.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll reread it to you because it's probably still up on one of the terminals from where Apollo translated it. This is the Union of Progressive Peoples Colony on Alpha Casea 2. We are experiencing a biological outbreak of unknown origin.
Outbreak of
We
unknown
are in
origin.
need of medical and scientific assistance. Take all necessary and quarantine precautions. Repeat, etc., etc.
Biological outbreak doesn't sound like necessarily um, an attack by by fauna necessarily. It could,
no, it's
but
weird.
all right.
Do sensors show us anything about the density of fauna around the complex?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do the sensors show us the density of fauna around the complex?
Make a contact roll with a +2 bonus for your ship sensors. Okay, one success. The sensors are picking up no fauna of any kind.
Wow.
So they either know the radiation is bad for them, or this
Or the
isn't
radiation was really bad for them.
right. Yeah, or the radiation was really
Yeah,
bad.
we don't really have any indication of how long it's been like this, right?
Yeah.
No.
Could be a week, could be a year.
Well, an airburst isn't going to have as much fallout as a ground burst. So
You know, to answer that statement, I'll give you one piece of information, Rudy. The the blast radius, um, it still has. There's still some wisps of smoke and stuff like that coming from it. It didn't
Okay.
happen. It didn't happen a long time ago. It's been relatively recent. I'll give you that information.
okay. So yeah, this looks like it just happened.
Are we on approach to the Hab close enough that they could see us coming? There's
Well, yeah,
no sign of life down there.
you did a flyby, so anyone would have.
So there's nobody standing out there with a pillowcase waving it back and forth.
No, you didn't see anybody as you did your flyby. Because certainly, as you broke through, if there's someone in command doing their job, as you guys broke through the atmosphere, they would have picked you up. So, plus you were
Should we?
sending messages to them. So, yeah,
Okay, good.
there was nobody waiting, looking for you.
Captain, should I communicate our intent to land on their pad?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at this point, it occurs to me that we're ethically and somewhat legally bound to offer assistance to them. But this is not a low risk situation. We've got multiple hazards that we can identify from several thousand meters away. So we're going to have to be extremely cautious.
Is there a site we could set down that's not on the pad that will be outside of the radiation zone?
Nothing
And walk-
nearby.
Nothing nearby, so we got to use the pad.
Well, that's unfortunate too.
Okay,
But I mean,
well,
there could be people huddled in there, just waiting for help. So
sure.
pretty
So
much
yeah,
try to
we'll just
investigate.
have to suit up and
Yeah.
go for
I'm
it.
going to recommend something that's no fun for somebody, but I mean, we probably should leave at least one person behind.
Oh, I'm not getting off this ship unless I need to.
Okay, yeah,
I got to protect the ship.
that's a very good idea. Technically, we probably shouldn't leave you alone either, but I don't know. We're definitely going to need medical on this one. I think we're going to need our roughneck on this one. And I think we're going to need the scientists on this one too, because who knows what they were studying in there. I'm certainly not in a position to be able to tell.
Any-
So
Does anybody have PDTs? installed in them or in place?
I have a PDT.
Okay, and I'm able to monitor that from the
Sure.
ship. I'm
Absolutely.
guessing. Okay. Do we all have PDTs? Do we think?
I took one
Rudy does not.
for my career starting gear.
Yeah. Okay. So at least a few have them, so I'll be able to track.
Is your quick question, Roman? And it doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. Is your PDT an implanted chip, or is it like the wristwatch deal?
I would guess it's an implanted chip. I didn't realize the wristwatch deal was an option, but I would figure probably an implant.
Okay, that's fine.
The
That's what I would
wristwatch is
think.
easy to lose, and we're hundreds of millions of miles from home.
That is a very, very true statement. So, and just something to you guys can keep in mind if since none of the rest of you have PDTs, next time you get back to next time you get back to the world, you can have those implanted for like $100. They're not expensive, so you can keep that in mind.
My dog has one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Mine as well.
All right, so you set her down on the pad.
Yes, I do.
Right,
as soft as a baby's bottom.
Yeah, that's right. Perfect. So, what we should probably do. So, Jim, are you staying up on the bridge? I know you're staying aboard ship.
Yeah, unless there's an observation deck that gives me more information than what the bridge would.
Not specifically, no.
Okay, so then the bridge.
Yeah, and the airlocks are down on the sub deck, connected to the cargo bay, which is also. It seems safe to assume that the spacesuits are probably stored there, because they'd be at the airlocks, if that makes sense.
And out of game a bit, could you these spacesuits? I assume they have like current suits. They have a water supply where you can sip water as needed, because we can't break the containment of the suit to drink.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
I'm not too worried about that. These particular spacesuits, someone pop open the ship stores for me. Confirm. I believe you guys have the Mark 35 pressure suits. Is that correct?
The bulkier armored ones.
Mark 35 pressure suits.
Yep.
Okay.
So anyone who's putting one of those on, it's a 2-weight item, so it's going to add 2 to your encumbrance. Okay. It does have 5 armor rating, which is a good thing. All agility-based scores while you're in the suit is -1. All agility-based rolls, and the air supply on it is 4, so that you are aware. You will have to make air supply rolls. So everyone who's going ashore, just go ahead and put one of those guys on your character sheet and adjust your encumbrance and put a 5 in your armor and a 4 in your air supply.
What's the encumbrance on it?
2. Yeah, they're the big bulky ones.
As we are putting our suits on, would anybody else like to?
The plan is Max Decker is going to stay up on the bridge, and everybody else is going to go suit up to leave the ship. Is that the idea?
You betcha.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring along besides what's on their character sheet?
Well, I do have a question for the crew, so we have an idea of what everybody's capable of. Who has weapons?
I have diddly squat, but I have some napper leave, so if anyone needs a little top off on the way, just to lower some stress. I'm a good person to keep alive or around.
That is good to know. I have some napper leave as well, for myself and others, and I do have a sidearm as well as an assault rifle that I could loan out to someone who has ranged combat, so that could take care of 2 of us.
Okay.
Is anybody else packing?
I've got range combat 1, but no gun.
Okay, who has
No.
Okay, so all right, so
All right,
nobody has any
No.
weapons.
I have
Is that what
I
I'm hearing?
have a short range weapon. I can use my bolt gun as a short range.
Okay, so who am I loaning this assault rifle to? Who has the highest range combat? But
All right.
needs a weapon.
I have a whopping 2 in agility and 0 in ranged combat, so I cannot hit the broadside of a barn.
From the
Okay.
inside.
Okay.
Yeah. Likewise.
I have 4 agility and 1 ranged combat.
But you're a close combat like guru, right? It sounds like.
Yeah, I've got a very high strength. But
Okay.
I've
Jake,
got
what's your ranged combat like and agility and stuff?
5 total.
That's not bad.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
5 total.
Okay, so you're getting the assault rifle. It's an AK-47 with 2 reloads. And what do you need to know about that? It has no bonus, a damage of 2, and a range of long.
Yeah, and it will add 1.5 to your encumbrance to carry the assault rifle and both reloads. Which that might be a problem for you actually.
That'll put me on 6.
Oh, that'll put you on 6. What's your strength? 3?
3, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're fine
That's
then. Yeah. You just can't carry anything else.
So that leaves Rudy with her 357 and reloads. And also, short party, remember, in addition to the doctor, Rudy also has nap relief. So if somebody's tweaking the fuck out, she'll dose you up. She has a medical of 1, so she's not a great medic, but she's a backup medic kind of
she's
thing.
not a complete noob.
She can stab you with an auto injector. Let's put it that way.
Does anybody have while we're on that topic, does anybody have stress?
Not anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I pushed the roll, but that was turns and turns and turns.
Yeah. I mean, you made planetfall. You were flying through the system, everything. So anyone who had stress shouldn't have any at this point. All right. So if you're all ready, you can open the airlock and step foot on the landing pad. There's a large forest to the north that stretches as far as you can see. The colony you saw from the air is a half mile east of your position. Take you about a turn to get there in terms of in-game time, but it's it's a pretty standard prefab wall. 18, 20 feet tall. There's some light stanchions spaced on it every so often. And there's a large double wide main gate, like 8-meter wide main gate, large enough to allow a vehicle in and out. And that's what you can pick up from here.
If we don't
Alright,
have
well.
vehicles, I guess we start walking.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to drag everybody but poor Jim. Jim gets to stay on the ship.
I will manage the ship's store as well. Well, everybody's gone. The ship does have short range sensors, though, right?
Oh,
that you can just keep on so we can have situational awareness out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've probably gone through at least one shift.
Yeah, at this point, absolutely. All right.
So we got to do 1 meal, 1 water. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, I think it's safe to assume that everybody found a moment to eat a prefab meal and drink some water during all that, right? All right. So, as you guys trudge your way towards the colony, I would like everybody to make 1 air roll, please. That's weird. Roman. Oh,
Yeah. What are we supposed to be at? 4.
4. Yeah.
Should we be at 4 on all of these? No.
On yeah, all your air supplies should be at 4 from the
Okay.
suits.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing there. Okay.
All
There we go.
right, so Dr. Roman, you need to drop yours by 1. Victor's, you got to
3.
drop yours by 2.
Oof.
Yikes! And Jake Sinclair, you got to drop yours by 1.
So based on those rolls, it's possible to have a sudden impromptu emergency where somebody just basically decompresses.
No,
They,
you
they
wouldn't
run they run out of
decompress. You just
oxygen
run
and
out of
they're
air. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, your next step
Okay.
is probably taking the helmet off. So
Right.
So let me just make sure I understand this dynamic here. So is this roll for the duration of our sortie, or how often? Because like he just
As
used up half his
often
air, so he has to go back, like right now.
as
Um,
often as the GM decides. So he could forget, and we could not roll this again, or he could make us roll this again 3 more times in the next 2 minutes.
That's a true statement.
Okay, well, based on like a safety protocol, you need to go back right now and refill your because you
Guys, I think I got like a leak somewhere. I'm losing air
I
really
was
fast.
saying, at this point, if I'm there, I'm talking about some kind of damage to your suit. What has gone wrong here?
you took 2 steps out of the airlock and you're like, hey guys, I'm at 1500. What are you guys at?
I've done a little bit of
1500.
If you lose half your oxygen right away, something's wrong with your gear.
Yeah,
Guys,
go
it's like
put
driving a car,
your
man.
number
If you take
6
it out, you got to fill it up.
He's just a heavy breather.
Well,
But remember, the future rolls, getting a 1 on 2 dice is a lot harder than getting a 1 on 4 dice. So
that's true.
the chances of losing air goes down geometrically as you lose air.
That's but the consequences of losing air go up geometrically as well.
You can pull the helmet off. It's just that you're going to inhale contaminated air.
In theory, it could be.
Radiation.
Plus, who knows what bacteria and viruses are floating around in the atmosphere.
The biological outbreak is real, or we have reason to suspect that it is.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it's up to you, but honestly, you probably should think about like stepping back into the suit, into the lie. We just left. We could go back and top off, or you could just.
Marty, can I go back and top off and then remake the roll? Is my march back?
Yeah, I'll let you do that. So you head back to the airlock essentially.
Yeah, just to top off and figure out what's going on with my air supply.
All right. Would someone do me a favor and make a Comtech roll for Apollo? I'm trying to get
Yeah, here, I
light
can
up
do
and
that.
running. Give me 1 second here.
No problem. I got you.
Oh my.
Oh no, Apollo's shit in the bed already.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right.
Working.
So
Working.
What's that?
This Star Trek computer,
Oh,
like inside joke.
yeah. Let's see. I'm just going down the list here. Rudy, what do you see on your screen right now? Sharif, you there?
Sorry, I was talking and I had my push to talk thing going.
This is my first time playing with the dynamic lighting, so I don't know if it's working properly.
Yeah, I don't believe it is working. I see what looks like half of like a hexagon covering up 2/3 of my screen.
And then on the left-hand side, you should be able to see the character.
I see the characters, but I
So
don't
if you
know.
move the character, those hexagons will move because it's based on your character's line of sight.
Oh, maybe I am seeing what I'm supposed to see then.
Yep. And then
Okay.
this doorway here, when this gets opened, we should have access to the interior.
I get you now. I didn't realize that this was the complex. I thought it was the ship still, and so I
this
thought
is like a
maybe
fog
it wasn't
of war
working.
thing.
But
Yeah,
I get that it's a fog of war now.
And it tracks. So if you, for example, if you just pop up, you can see the top of the whole word on the edge of the building and then pop down. Not
Yeah.
that we should be able to see it that way, but you
It's
get the
actually
picture.
pretty nice. And so when it's an area you've already seen and you come back, it goes to gray, letting you know you've already seen it.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Because one of you accidentally crossed over the fresh threshold, but that's my fault for letting that happen. So Jesse, let's do this. You go back to the ship. You go in the airlock, and you top off your air. Would you make and then you got to come back to the rest of the group. So why don't you make an air roll again, please? Put your air back at 4 and then make it again. All right, so it goes down to 3, but so that's not a
I need,
problem.
I need more cardio in my life.
Yeah, that might be the case. So all seems quiet as you guys approach the 8-meter wide main gate. It's clearly designed to accommodate vehicles as well as people. Um, even in your spacesuits, or especially in your spacesuits, it's hard to hear that there's any sound at all. Everything is just deathly quiet. To your right is a large wheat field, and there is a much smaller vegetable garden to the left. So the wheat field is down this way, whereas the vegetable garden's like just right here. Okay. And there are a couple cameras that sit atop the wall that wraps the colony that seem to pan back and forth. And there are lights on the main gate of the, because it's a big automated main gate, there's lights on it as well.
I'm assuming we know it's a wheat field because we can see the wheat.
Yeah.
How do the wheat in the garden look? How do the plants look?
That was a very good question. They no, they look well, make an observation roll.
Of course.
Let's do it the hard way. He who asks gets to roll. Oh my god.
Tell us about the farm you grew up on.
Yeah, that's right.
One sharp roughneck.
They there's a lot of your Earth standard variety of vegetables that are growing there, and it's overall pretty well tended. It looks like there's a little bit of weeding that needs to be done, but it's not bad. It's very well maintained overall.
But they look healthy. Do they look wilted? Do they look brown?
No, they're pretty healthy.
Okay.
You do with 2 stunts, though. I don't know that can do you much good in this instance, but you can look at that.
No, I think I'll save a. Yeah, I don't think the stunts are going to do me any good.
I will suggest to Dr. Sinclair that he shoulders his weapon if it isn't already, so we look a little less threatening. Armed party coming to the front door. You know what I mean?
Will do. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And there's no activity from inside that we can see.
No.
Are the lights on?
Yeah, there's definitely power because there's cameras on top of the wall. Not a whole bunch of them, but just a couple spaced here or there that are panning back and forth. The main gate is on. It's got lights indicating that it's on and active. It's just closed. Beyond that, you can't really see past the wall.
Let's have the crew hang back just a little bit, and I will approach, but I won't start messing with the door.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see if they acknowledge me.
Yeah, there is no response of any kind.
Do I see a way of communicating at the door? Intercom, keypad, something?
Yeah, there's an intercom next to the door. Absolutely.
All right. Boop, boop, boop. Push a button or two. There's the doorbell.
That's right.
Hello? Somebody home?
Yeah.
Girl Scouts?
That's right. Avon calling.
Blanchard.
Avon calling. Have you heard the good news?
There is no answer. And with the cameras on top of the wall, if there's someone inside, certainly they'd have seen you.
All right. Is there a way of opening the door from here that doesn't involve welding?
There are a set of door controls. It looks like it requires some sort of entry code. Someone could probably bypass it with a comtech check. Beyond that, someone might be able to pry the door open or something along those lines, or of course cut through. Or you could try to climb the wall. Of course, it's a plasteel wall. There's not a lot to grab a hold of.
Well, let's
And
see
it's
if
20 feet high.
let's see if Dr. Roman can pop this lock.
All right.
He's our number 2 Comtech guy. Hey Doc, check this out.
That would be it's definitely a security seal. So to bypass it, you would have a -2 penalty. If anyone wants to assist, of course, that's an option.
Yeah, could I get some help?
Sure. What we doing?
We're trying to bypass this control panel to get through the lock.
Oh, yeah, I see. It's,
Comtech help.
yep. Pull up my see that and start helping.
All right.
So I'm at -1 total.
Correct. Would you like to push the roll?
Yeah, I think so.
Two
All right.
successes. You have a stun. What would you like to do with the stun?
Oh, I should have spent my auto success from earlier. That's okay. I'll keep another auto success.
All right, that's fine. All right. So the door winds as it mechanically opens. It splits in the middle and opens both ways. Like I said, it's a very wide gate, and I'm just going to move you guys just inside so that you can see with the dynamic lighting. It should be a kind of a large square now.
Affirmative.
The door opens and you enter the wide open area in the middle of the colony, easily 30 by 30 meters, maybe larger, bounded by buildings on all sides. There are a half dozen bodies strewn about the area that immediately draw your attention. They're human, or they were once. Their flesh is turned black as night. Their bodies emaciated and hairless. 2 are curled into fetal positions, while 2 more seem to be holding each other in search of comfort, maybe. The final 2 look to the sky. One is lying on their stomach, face turned upwards, and the other's on their knees, almost as if they're praying. You see clothing, jumpsuits, and the like discarded about the area. As you get past the immediate shock, you see to your right is a 60-meter wide building with writing stenciled on it and a security door that's as large as the main gate. To your left is a building with a standard door that appears to occupy most of the colony's northern area. And almost directly ahead of you is another security door that leads to a smaller building that connects to the northern part of the complex. There are several cameras that scan the area. If you could all gain a point of stress, please.
As soon as I started hearing dead bodies, I was like, oh, there's the stress.
All right.
Matthew, what do you think killed these people?
This looks almost like a mixture of white phosphorus and bubonic plague. I don't know. Can I make a medical aid?
Please
Actually,
do.
to see
Oh,
if
Jesse, we all put something about our career in with our name for the first little bit, so we can all get used to the roles everybody's playing.
Sure. Give me one sec. Can you see it now?
No, you have to click away from the naming thing, and it should update, or you might have to reconnect.
Oh, I see. I put it on the sheet, not on the
No. It's under, if you go to
audio, video,
Here.
video display.
settings gear. It's under personalization and display name.
Oh, tough one.
You can put in your character name and then something about your position on the ship.
Yeah, there it goes.
Good?
Yep.
Great. All right, can I get a medical aid roll to see if I can figure out anything else about the cause of death?
Please, go ahead. successes.
Nailed it.
Look at that. Um, you tell me how you go about this.
Methodically. So start by looking at positioning for death, right? Are people moving, stagnant? Why is that body looking up? Followed by looking for potential causes. There's a lot of just blackened skin, but is that a virulent cause? Is that burns? And then just kind of piecing it together from there, working kind of inside out, if you
Okay.
will.
All right. Very good. So from the standpoint of as you start to look at them, there were two that were clearly looking up, but it almost seems like there was something above them all that they were picking up on or that they were focusing on. The blackened skin is not any sort of burn by any means. It and when I say blackened, I mean it is because if it were a burn, there would still be some degree of shading, unless it's just a complete incineration. The skin appears to have dried out and become the skin and the flesh appears to have dried out and become it almost looks like it almost looks brittle. Uh, if you were to touch it, you feel like that it might crumble or something along those lines. It's definitely not any sort of conventional burn or caused by a chemical that was applied that did this that you're aware of. You would probably need to do some actual studying to determine more than that, if that makes sense.
Do they look? And if I have to roll, I understand. Do they look petrified?
Make an observation roll.
Can I use my analysis?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so I don't know how much the questions on that analysis are really going to help me, but we'll see.
Yeah, figure it out. Ooh, no successes. Do you want to push that roll?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
This is curious enough for that. That's better.
Okay.
There you go.
Very nice.
All right,
There you
so
go.
everyone gets to, because his analysis roll was successful, everyone gets to lose a point of stress.
Does that include me?
Yeah, that includes you.
I'm
Absolutely.
figuring things out.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, so your initial reaction is you would really like to get some samples back to the science lab, but you know the word you would almost comes to mind is calcified.
Okay.
Um,
So they don't. It doesn't look. They don't look necrotized, and they don't look petrified.
no,
It's okay.
yeah, they definitely look very brittle. And because analysis is based on observation, you know, like I said before, there's a number of discarded jumpsuits and whatnot, colony standard jumpsuits, that type of thing, clothing just strewn about the area. And as you're looking and coming to these conclusions, there is a large amount of black ashy substance around with the clothing as well.
And the deceased are all nude.
No, they're wearing clothes.
They're wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask for some clarification on the description you just gave?
Sure.
So, first of all, this area is exposed to the air, right?
Correct.
It's
This is open
roofless.
air.
It's like
Yep.
a courtyard.
Yep.
The ash that you described, is it in piles near the empty clothing?
Correct.
So, like, these people turned to powder at some point? Some of them? Is that the feeling we're getting, or
If you'd like to draw that,
it didn't
conclusion,
come
I can
down
stop
from the
it.
sky? In other words, it's not from a nearby fire.
Well,
It's
no,
concentrated.
because you don't. For instance, you didn't see any of it outside the courtyard, and in general, like towards the edges of the courtyard, you don't see any of it. It's pretty much centered around the discarded clothing.
All right. Are these piles in like the shapes of bodies or?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask from analysis, Dr. Roman?
Yeah, can I? Well, I'll just ask a modified series of these, and you can tell me if it's too modified. As
Okay.
opposed to how old is it? Can I get a sense of how long they've been here like this?
Um, Not really, no, because you've never seen anything quite like this.
Sure. Um, in terms of what problems could it cause, am I able to tell whether it looks like there's something contagious here, or is it decidedly look like they were impacted by something that came from above them?
Your gut reaction is that these people were directly exposed to something, if that makes sense.
But not necessarily a pathogen.
But perhaps, but there's nothing to necessarily indicate that they themselves are contagious. If
Okay.
that makes sense, you would probably need to do a little more analysis in your science lab.
Okay.
Okay.
I would probably take the rest of it as just I know there's a way forward if we can get a better study. I do recognize there's only so much we can possibly know from glancing at them.
Sure. Fair enough.
I'll get on the radio and notify Max of what we're seeing. This is provided we don't have like audio-visual feeds that he can watch, but assuming that we don't.
Yeah, your suits would have built-in comms to be sure, but the Mark 35 doesn't say anything about a built-in video feed.
Well, I'll describe what we're seeing and ask him to radio UPP and let them know their colony has been ravaged by disease, apparently, and that we're investigating.
Max, make a contact roll, would you?
Sure thing.
While that's happening, if nobody stops Jake, he will start to gather samples.
Okay, absolutely. All right, so Max, as you start to do that, if you're going to radio back to the UPP, you realize that there is actually no network connectivity whatsoever. This colony is obviously not connected to the network, and being 5 parsecs away from the frontier, it's going to take years for a conventional message to get back anywhere. You guys could probably hand deliver a message before that happened. You would have, or it'd get back at least to the frontier where you had network access.
And that's what I discovered from my Comtech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Jake, what kind of samples are you collecting?
I will collect some of the ash,
Okay.
and then I'll start cutting off some fingers.
Okay. As you start to handle the corpses, they literally, as you begin to touch them, they start to collapse into the same ashy type material.
Jake, I'm not sure we should be bringing back this stuff.
Yeah, at this point, I'd have to say I have some pretty serious reservations about bringing any of it onto the ship.
Well, I'm sure they've got a lab here to have a look at. I mean, we need to figure out what happened. Hey, Vickers, have a look at this. The people actually turned to ash. This is so fascinating.
Yeah, but I don't know. Can we compromise? Let's look. Maybe there's some type of facility on here we can run some scans in. They might come out in Cyric, but we can always download the report and have Apollo give us a reading back.
Let's just remember, guys, it's not necessarily our job to do a post-mortem. Right now, we're just here to see if there's any survivors. Not that I'm
we
saying
need to make sure what happened to them doesn't happen to us.
I agree, and I think the first line of protection from that is to not get any of that fucking shit inside the spaceship.
Listen, Sinclair, I'm just as curious as you. You know I want to get to the bottom of this, but We have to be extraordinarily careful. We're a long way from any help here.
Let's see if there's anybody else left
Oh,
alive.
word. Just relax, guys. I mean, we've got sample taking capability. We are a survey ship. I mean, every sample we take, we don't know if it's contaminated or not. We have the tools, we have the utilities, we've got the sampling, items, and we've got a decent lab on the ship. So anything that we work with on the ship could be contaminated with viruses or anything. So we're sorted, we cover it. I mean, this is part of our daily job.
Yeah.
Well, Sinclair has a point. I mean, as part of a survey, we do need to know if there's a hostile biological agent on the planet. But I do like the idea of maybe seeing if they don't have a lab facility here that you can use, so we can
They have
maintain.
power. Let's take a closer look. I agree.
Let's combine our efforts in finding survivors and with looking around for a lab that Sinclair could use to run tests. That would be the best of both worlds.
Okay. All right. So.
I think we should stick together. You want to see if this building to the north is something?
Sure, one is as good as the other.
Or you could split up.
Yeah.
That always works out well.
All right, so you guys are heading.
Next thing you know, you wind up in low orbit, getting destroyed by a corporate spaceship as your friends get overrun.
This is the most
spiders.
hostile split the party game I think there is. There's no real reason to do it except that you'll be forced to do it because it's a horror story.
Yeah, at some point it will happen. So
Right.
you guys are heading up there towards that. Okay. So there's.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just got a text from Jim. His computer crashed.
Oh. Okay.
And so he is rebooting. He is not currently here, I don't think.
All right. Well, let's do this really quickly then, because I got a call from work. Let me return this call really quickly. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll use the head then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I apologize.
It's all good. We still don't have Jim back anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, and when he joins, we might all have to. Oop. Now, do we have to reconnect?
I'll bet you $1 million. Well, I see him.
Oh, I see him.
Jim? Yeah.
Hey, all right, cool. Yay! We don't have to play Roll20 roulette.
No. Hey, it's weird. This computer has never just shut down like it pulled the plug. It's from 2015. So. Okay, I am back to continue to monitor your progress.
Hooray.
So as you guys approach that door to that large building up there, it's a pretty colony standard door. You're fairly sure that as you approach it, when you get close, it's just going to open up. It doesn't look like it It doesn't look like it's locked or secured in any way.
Okay, so continue on.
Yeah, are you guys just going up to it and...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, as you move up to it and it opens, there's a huge room beyond. I'm just gonna, yeah, just go ahead and you can go ahead and move in. It's a good 30 meters long and 20 meters deep. The room has row after row of bunks in it. Each one has a full foot locker, a small dresser or table, and they're split up by partitions, by 6-7 foot tall partitions to create just small little sleeping areas. Most of the mattresses that are here are still wrapped in plastic. Most of them haven't been used. There's probably only 10 or 12 that actually are that look like they've been actively used. Over the tops of the partitions, you can see another automatic door over here. As you come around the corner of one of those partitions, you gasp sharply. There's a man wearing a colonial jumpsuit of some sort. It's definitely a colony standard jumpsuit with Cyrillic writing on it. He's slightly propped up against one of the partitions. He looks like the corpses outside. The flesh of his face is sunken in. His skin is stretched tightly across his skull, which is hairless. Skin is just solid black and looks like it's made of brittle paper. If you touch it, it's going to flake and crumble just like the one did outside. There's a large black stain that covers the front of his jumpsuit. Something akin to oil, maybe. There's a bolt gun on the floor next to his hand. But on the other side of the aisle, is another man, but it's really more of a creature or something you've never seen before. He wears a jumpsuit similar to the dead guy, but the clothing is torn and damaged. It's also stained with black liquid, as well as what can only be blood. The head is misshapen, bulbous, and elongated. But the skin isn't black, it's more of a grayish transparent. And you can practically see the skull right through the skin on the face. Its arms and legs have been stretched and extended past where they should be based on the fact the jumpsuit is fitted. There's black veins spidering across its flesh, and its hands are curled up into bony fists. And you see claws or some sort of maybe vicious nails at the end of its fingers. But it's dead. The flat end of a heavy bolt from a bolt gun's protruding from its forehead.
So this is a Xeno?
No. Well, maybe. It's definitely alien of some sort, but it's wearing a colony standard jumpsuit. I'm trying to pull a picture for you.
It's a beluga head.
I'm having some issues though. It's
And I'm sorry, our stress increases by 1 at the new site?
yeah, because you've never seen what has happened to this other individual before. And yet I seem to be having a hard time pulling it up, and it's really kind of pissing me off. I'm sorry.
Dr. Roman, how are you doing? You look a little nervous over there.
Well, certainly I'd like to know a little bit more about what's going on here.
Like I said, it's got a... Did you guys see that picture?
Parts of it.
Sorta.
Because
Move yourself over here on the edge.
Yeah, it's
You'll be
because
able
of the
to see it.
dynamic lighting. I'm sorry here.
Do you need us to leave this room?
Nah,
Oh.
there we go.
Oh shit!
There it
Um,
is.
yeah.
Flashback.
Are we taking stress for this?
Yes, one stress.
Yeah, Dr. Roman, are you doing okay over there? You look a little stressed out.
I am stressed out. Obviously, I think our top priority is finding out what happened here and making sure that we don't get contaminated. Um, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think through if there's any options for proceeding with better capabilities, but it seems like the space suits and walking around are about as good as we can really do.
Um, I don't think that's a good time for an air roll.
You said
I don't-
space. You reminded him.
Oh shit! Oh my god. Vickers lose 1 air. Rudy lose 3. Jake lose 1. Mitchell Roman lose 2. Dwayne Dunning lose 2. Oh shit.
At that point, I'm going to say also my oxygen's getting low. I think we're going to need to get back to the ship and reconsider our approach here. Obviously, there's more going on than a simple biological outbreak. There's been violence, there's radiation. We are not equipped to handle this as is.
Everyone's
All right,
going
let's
to
head
die
back.
from hypoxia.
Let's head back and regroup.
Can we just check one? Can we just check the next room and then clear this building?
What do you want? Somebody to suffocate?
Yeah, I really don't recommend that.
Come on, let's just go with the captain.
Who's like me and has 1 air left?
Me.
Yeah, so our low air alarms are going off.
Yeah, I guess it might be a good idea to get all the sound samples into the freezer on the ship as well.
All right, so you guys head back to the ship.
I don't think we have any choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, suffocation is an option.
Campaign's over.
Shortest game we've played yet.
Yeah, that was.
Everybody just came off the ship and died.
Yeah.
That's funny.
How'd you guys die? We pushed our air rolls.
Yeah.
Before we leave, I'll also take samples of this new strain
Okay.
and also grab any data, photos, and cover it on my deck.
All right. That absolutely works. All right. So you guys return to the to the ship. I won't make you make an air roll to get back. We'll just let it happen.
I'll ask Max if the UPP has replied.
Did we get a reply?
No, because there's really, unfortunately, there's really no way.
It's just my way of getting the info that you got.
Yeah, it's too far. I'm related back what Marty said.
Yeah, there's no network nodes this far out. So.
Roger. So now we all know.
All right. So you guys make it back to the ship. You climb into the airlock and start to refill your air.
Before we do that, we just decontaminate.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem whatsoever. And I screwed one thing up, so I'm going to redo that. So as you climb into the airlock, actually Apollo locks the inner door of the airlock down and says, Apollo's voice comes over, biological contaminant detected. Begin decontamination process.
Oh shit.
So it's Max.
That's a standard thing for it to do, though, isn't it?
Well, it normally is going. It's a standard thing for it to check. It's not a standard thing for it to tell you it found a contaminant.
Right, but I guess it's a result of it doing its job, not a result of it like doing anything weird.
Correct. So Max, if you're on the bridge when you hear that come through, if you check the alert, it looks like that. It looks like that Sinclair, Jake Sinclair, as well as Dunning, have something actually something. It's picking up something microscopic on their suit,
Who?
but it's not picking it up on Vickers, Rudy, or Roman.
Got it. Now, does the ship go automatically into decontamination when it
Yeah.
senses that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say you guys all know the protocols, and the ship knows what it's doing where that's concerned.
So that's
Unless
stuff-
you want to halt it from deconning at first.
Well, I don't know if I want to treat it as a sample. Doctors, you didn't bring anything back on purpose, did you?
I've got quite a few samples, but they're all secured in the relevant packaging and vials. So,
Okay, so got the samples, they're secured, and so yeah, I guess continue with decontamination then.
yes, please.
All right. All right. So the ship goes through its processes. Your suits are sprayed with superheated steam and then irradiated, and then 4 gallons of Purell are dropped on you guys. and Apollo reports that the decontaminant is eliminated, and it is now. We losing Jim again? There we go. The contaminant is eliminated, and it's now safe to open the airlock.
Okay, then we're opening it and getting everybody inside.
Okay. All right. So air refills. Jake, did you want to run things to the science lab, or were you just going to drop? I don't know what the plan is. I'm sorry. So I should ask you guys. What's the plan?
So for Jake, well, before refilling there, we'd go to the science lab and secure all the samples.
Okay.
I assume we've got a biologically safe kind of biohazard 4 level.
Yeah. You got a full-blown science lab, so you've got everything you need in terms of containment rooms and all sorts of stuff. That's not an issue.
I would go with Sinclair then.
Okay. All right.
Good Sinclair.
Get all that secured. What does everybody else want to do? Or are you guys just waiting, or?
Well,
I think we should head to the bridge and plot our next steps.
I think we still gotta head back out there because we're not sure that there may not be some survivors, right?
Yeah, I mean, you really only went into the first room essentially.
Right. So, yeah. Who wants to go back out?
Is it possible we can have Apollo communicate with their central systems if we can restore power to run a scan for life forms?
Well, they definitely have power. There's nothing to indicate that they don't have power. That was a really good question. If you want to do that, we can have Apollo make a Comtech roll.
Yeah. Just trying to think of everything that I ran through in the last Alien novel I read.
Oh, look at that. So Apollo is actually making contact with an AI system that is identifying itself as Ivan, which some of you may or may not know that Ivan is basically a direct knockoff of the Apollo is a Seegson Systems AI. Mother is
Weyland-Yutani.
And Ivan is pretty much a direct knockoff of Apollo. In fact, Seegson is trying to sue the UPP over using the Apollo software to make Ivan.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like how in World War II, our Springfield sniper rifle was a ripoff of the German Mauser. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, we're fighting a war against you. We're not paying you. Anyway, but it can make contact. Ivan seems to be indicating that the colony is fully functional, but there is low-level radiation. it seems to be indicating that there is a low-level airborne contaminant outside of the colony. However, the colony interior is clean. The air scrubbers are working perfectly. And Medical Command and Ivan themselves are protected from our radiation shielded as well.
Who's interrogating Apollo?
Vickers had Apollo try to see if there was a colony AI he could connect to, and he picked up Ivan.
So I'll ask Vickers if he could ask Ivan if there are any survivors.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll another contact for that, or did we get that on the first one?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and roll another contact. Comtech.
I think Ivan's sensors might be too damaged for us to do that remotely.
Can it tell you how many souls are supposed to be assigned to this station or colony? I mean,
yeah, Ivan at this point has gone dark, realizing that you're not a UPP AI system at this point. You would probably have to interact more directly with Ivan to get any more information.
well, it was a good idea, and we learned a lot in one brief exchange. So
maybe that's our. Oh, who do we lose?
I'm sorry, our what?
We lost.
Lucy.
We lost Marty.
Oh,
Whoops.
The other Marty.
well, maybe that's our plan of course. Then, when we get back, we find an access there of Ivan's system, get a documentation of what kind of occurred, and a proper scan using the colony systems for any survivors, and then leave base and report in, I guess.
In that case, is it possible to borrow Max Decker's little, I forgot what you called it, the console or whatever that allows you a bonus to interrogating computers?
Yeah, the Seegson data device, I think it's called, or
Is it something Dr. Roman could use?
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think there's any special skill needed to operate it. I think it just gives you a buff.
Thermo, you there? Dwayne Dunning? There he is. I see him.
I guess we have to reload, huh?
I
There
see
you go.
him.
Reconnect will do it.
He showed up on me after a second.
You there, Dwayne?
So yeah, what
Dwayne, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there he is. Okay.
yeah, the Seegson device will give you a +2 in Comtech. You can borrow it.
All right, nice. Let's make sure Dr. Roman gets that.
Now you're going to try to say again what you're doing with it, and
Well, we're going to have to go back since we don't know whether or
Right.
not people are still alive.
is to override
And the
or
suggestion was made to one of the objectives we could have while we're there is to look for Ivan and interrogate it.
got it.
And in that case, we need somebody who's got good comtech, and your device will help, I think.
Yeah, it'll give a +2 to any troubleshooting of computer systems or that
And,
type of thing.
and what's the piece of gear he has again?
It's a SSDD.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's a one encumbrance item.
gotcha. So are you guys coming to find me in the research lab then?
Sure, why not?
I had gone back with Jake to do research.
Sure.
You were securing all the samples. Were you actually starting research at this point, or were you just getting everything kind of locked up?
If it hasn't been very long, we're probably just getting set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that my idea was securing all the samples and then going out again, unless the captain says otherwise or people have other ideas.
No, I think I would agree with that.
All right.
Because after all, step one is rescue mission.
Yeah, as we're saying, I think we should get to the heart of it, find their Avon system, use its access it directly, and then scan for life forms there.
Also, if there's a permanent establishment out here, they got to be talking to somebody. There's someone else we don't know closer than we think. That's my thinking, anyway.
Well, they could have had a light
Interesting.
flow beacon, right, where they have a faster than light communication that, because we're so far out from the network, they could just had something where, they send out a probe, it enters FTL and communicates with a different relay.
If that's the case, we should try to verify that. One way or another, they weren't just out here incommunicado like this.
You're right. You're right.
Well, we just need to get the information from Ivan. I mean, guessing it's just, not really going to help us as much fun as it is. We need to actually go out and get the information from Ivan or anybody that's still alive.
I'm ready to go back.
All right.
Can we lose a strike for having returned
Yeah.
to safety?
Yeah, absolutely.
Been there for a bit?
Yeah, everyone can pop down a point of stress.
And then, actually, can I try to use my counselor talent on Roman just to,
Sure.
like, there's some weird shit there, buddy, but it's not that bad, and I have a vote command.
Yep. All right.
So I can lose another one?
So you can lose a bonus one, yep.
All right, awesome.
So you drop 2 instead of just the 1.
That's a really cool talent.
Yeah.
That's a very cool talent.
And I have...
Which one was that? Which
Console.
talent was that?
Counselor.
Oh, counsel, that's right.
Counselor. Oh, yeah.
And I actually have compassion as well, so I could push that roll twice. If I really wanted to, I could push it a bunch of times for a lot of successes. If the one guy with a gun is really losing his shit,
That's cool.
Just keep your finger on that trigger, buddy. Just keep your finger on that trigger.
All right, so you guys all...
All right, so we chopped our air back.
Yeah, put your air back at 4. And
Now, are we all going back, same crew, or is Dr. Sinclair? I don't know if you said you were staying. Are
I
you?
think everyone's going back.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
That's
right.
good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop you here in the courtyard, and you guys can decide what you want to do from there. There we go. Okay. And I because I'm just an evil bastard, I am going to make you make an air roll for the hike back to the colony. Oh my God!
For God's sake.
Okay, all right.
20 sessions later, we're still in the courtyard, back and forth air.
Yeah,
Guys, I thought I told Apollo to fill up the suit when we
that's right.
left.
Okay, because I'm such a merciful GM, Vickers, I'll let you re-roll that, just because I don't want to weigh down the game with you guys having to run back and forth for air constantly. But I will make Rudy lose 2 and Roman and Dunning each lose 1.
The reroll came out with losing Zilt, but for the spirit of it, I can lose 1 or 2 if you'd like.
That's fine. That's very fair, and I appreciate that.
Lose 1, the dice are against you enough.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I guess from here it's a question where you guys want to head. Do you want to head back to the habitation complex up there and check out the door to the right, or did you want to go into one of these other security doors?
I have a feeling that Ivan's not going to be in habitation. So...
No, but people might be.
Yeah, I'd say finish a building and go on, continue on.
Rudy, what do you say?
I second that. I think we should finish looking for people.
All right. Well,
Keep in
Split
mind
the
that
party.
Well, since we don't know where we're going anyway, it's just as likely we find Ivan as a person. We may as well just look around.
I mean, we were up this way, right?
Yeah, you were up in this room.
But keep in mind that some of these people might be armed with actual or makeshift weapons.
Rudy, I'm going with you.
And on that point, I'll sling the rifle, considering what we found there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea.
All right. So,
Can we real quick take
yeah.
stock of what samples we got? We got stuff from the crumbled ashen bodies. Did we get anything from the bold head?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that as we're going through and we're seeing the different phenomena, we're trying to get some kind of reference point for all of it.
Absolutely, yeah. You collected, and you collected some of the ash. Then you collected, like you said, samples from the bodies, which kind of just crumbled to ash as you did it, but you still got those separate samples. So we moving through that door then?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right, go ahead. So, yeah, you guys can just move in through that door. This area is a perfect 20 meters by 20 meters square, and tables and chairs fill the middle of the room, one of which still has a tray of desiccated food on it. Cabinets and cold storage cabinets line the walls, probably filled with water or rations or other supplies. There are 2 doors in the room. One right here on the opposite side, and then another right there. They're just standard colony doors, kind that open when you enter. There are also the southeastern corner of the room, over where Vickers moved to, actually has several stacks of cryo crates, the kind that are used to transport supplies and such on a starship. One is pulled out from the others and is closed and has a glowing green light that indicates that it's active. The others are just open and empty. So you've got quick summary. You've got the door here, and you've got a door here, and then you've got basically cabinets and refrigeration that line this wall and that wall. And then down here is the cryo crates, one of which has a light on that shows that it's active.
Should we take a look at a cryo crate?
Yep.
All right. It's a pretty standard cryo crate. It's about 1 meter by 1 meter. It is closed and sealed and active. So there's something inside that's in a cryostasis.
Can we find out what is in it? Interrogate it with a PDAT or something?
Is there some kind of interface?
Not without opening it.
I think we should be very careful about that. How big is it?
1 meter by 1 meter.
Maybe we should take it back to the lab with us and do some further analysis there.
I don't know. I don't know if we want this on the ship.
That's fair.
The medical officer doesn't know what contained the pathogen or what came back, and we already tripped the alarm once going through. I don't really want to carry a big sealed vesicle of it.
Let's lump this one under. If we find a lab here, we'll take a closer look in that case.
Sure.
Okay, fine.
I vote we go to the southern door.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Because then I flipped a coin and it came up.
I don't see it in the stores or in the equipment, I guess, but is any kind of external, like portable external structure come with the ship as standard equipment?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, instead of doing the analysis on the ship proper, is there any way to do it in a closed structure that you take off the ship to?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be. Okay.
Good question, though. I like it.
Probably something I should have bought.
Well, we always have cooler resources for what we know we need next. I'm just gonna charge forward here, and I'm just gonna open the southern door, see what I see.
Okay. The door opens to reveal a medical bay.
With lab equipment?
Not so much scientific, but yeah, there's some degree of medical equipment. There's six intensive care beds on this wall, and there's also 2 surgical booths on the opposite side. There's an exam table right in the middle, upon which is a set of clothing and boots, as well as a whole bunch more of the black sooty substance that you found outside.
Huh.
And then there's a security door at the southern end of the room.
So we have a med bay. Do we want to try to take a look at cracking open the thing in here? We have some, not a whole extensive equipment, but certainly some diagnostic tools if there's a pathogen in it.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, so let's try to move that cryopod in here.
It is very, very heavy.
Rudy,
Cryopods, cryopods probably weigh 40 or 50 pounds in and of themselves, but it weighs a lot more than that. It's probably pushing somewhere between $150 and 200 pounds. Not easy for you to move by yourself. Not
Rudy,
saying
want
you
to help me
can't,
out?
but it is very heavy.
Yeah, sure. We should get Dwayne on this. He's the powerhouse.
Yeah, I'd be willing to help too.
Yeah, I mean, all of us put the
Okay.
I'll have Dwayne make a. We'll call it a stamina roll since that's strength based, and gain +2 for help from other people.
Okay. The comms are breaking up a little bit. What exactly am I trying to do?
Help move the cryopod, the cryo crate that's
Yeah.
in the room and down into the
Strength.
medical bay.
So it's just straight strength
No, roll
with
stamina.
a +2.
Roll stamina with.
Oh,
+2.
stamina with
Yeah.
a +2.
Would you like to push the roll?
You betcha.
Oh, wow.
He
So
was just warming up.
yeah.
So I lift it up over my head.
Yeah, exactly. You do have two.
He threw the crate. He threw the crate into the next room.
That's right. You do have 2 stunts to go along with that. Stamina stunts are. Well, there's no one else to give a success to, so that doesn't really apply. So you can gain a +1 mod to a later stamina roll, and you can get an auto success the next time you need to lift something heavy, essentially.
You need to say that again. You're breaking up.
Hold on, let me reconnect. So the 2 stunts that apply, you can gain a +1 to a later stamina roll. That you can take multiple times, or then you can get an auto success on a future heavy lift.
Well, with I'll I'll just bank the +1 mod
Okay. Do that
to
twice.
a later roll, and I don't know if there's something else I might have to lift in the future, but I'll bank the overcome the exact same challenge in the future.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So you, with a little help from your shipmates, you get this thing lifted up and move it down into the medical bay. All right. So, what's next, gentlemen?
oh, we open it.
All right. So as you press the big red button, there's a crack and a hiss as gases are expelled, which is pretty standard from cryo, and the latch on the lid, the magnetic seal, comes undone. You pull back the lid, and kind of curled up in it, with her knees pulled up to her chest and arms wrapped around her knees, is a person. As the white fog kind of lifts out and dissipates, she starts to move a little bit, and
Make sure that the door to this area is closed so that the scrubbers can work in here, because we just compromised her big time.
no problem.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And her eyelids start to
Can't
flutter,
put
and
that genie back in the bottle, unfortunately.
she kind of shakes her head a little bit. She mumbles something, and she kind of reaches up, grabs a hold of the sides of the container, and she starts to pull herself up groggily. And then she looks around, and she kind of gets a start, seeing the five of you in your compression suits around her. She kind of squints for a moment and says, "Americans?"
So she seems more surprised by us than she does by coming out of the cryo
She
chamber.
does.
Out of the cryo pod. It's not really a human cryo chamber, right? You're talking
No, it
about the
is
same
not.
kind of thing we found in was it during the hunt? There's one of those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, not the hunt. That was Immaculate. But
During
yes.
Immaculate. Yeah. And it had a face hugger in it at the time. They're not gigantic.
No. Like I said, it's a meter by a meter, so it's just over 3 feet square, 3 feet
Okay.
cubed. It she starts to go on, and you're assuming in Russian. Can I get observation rolls? Oh, nothing from Rudy. One from Jake. Dr. Sinclair. Oh, Mitchell Roman, roll your panic. And one from Dwayne. All right, holding it together. So the good doctors and Dwayne, of course, notice this, and this is probably the cause for Dr. Roman's uneasiness, even though he's holding it together. She starts going a mile a minute, talking. You don't know what she's saying. None of you speak Russian, but she's talking to you, and you're all just kind of looking at her, and the more she realizes that you don't understand a word she's saying, the more aggravated she seems to be getting. Roman Dunning, Dr. Sinclair, Dr. Roman, and Dwayne Dunning, what you guys notice about her as the fog is fully lifted away, and the kind of the frost that cryo tends to leave on somebody's skin, there's something going on with her. Has she has at first you would think it's like crow's feet, but it's not. There's at her temples and in one of her cheeks and in the whites of her eyes, she's got kind of these black veins that you've never really seen before. They look very similar to what that strange corpse had back in the bunk room.
Hey, good call not taking her back to the ship.
Being completely oblivious of this, can I use a command roll to try to get her to calm down?
You can. I'm going to give you a -2 because you don't speak Russian, and she
Sure.
doesn't speak English. A success! Look at that. Okay, so she's going on, and as you start to do your thing, she kind of starts to focus on you a little bit, and her tension level is definitely coming down a bit. She is speaking to you, as if she's trying to get some point across, but obviously you don't speak Russian, so you're not getting it. But
Can we just everyone? Can we record what she's saying? Send it back to Max and see if he can get Apollo to start working on a translation, even if it takes a bit.
that's a good idea. Does one of you have a tape recorder?
I have a PDAT. I don't know if that would help.
I gotta think on that for a moment. I don't know that the PDAT records sound.
Yeah, I don't really remember everything it does.
Well, it's never really fully explained everything it does. I think we all kind of assume a PDAT is kind of like a tablet, even though we never really see that type of technology used that much in Alien. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jesse?
was gonna say, worst case, we just open a comm line to Max so he gets this live, and then if he starts feeding it into Apollo live, maybe it's just like a -2 or something on the comm tech for
Yeah,
Apollo.
yeah, I'll give you that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't you do that, Max? Why don't you make an Apollo, open up Apollo sheet and make a Comtech with a -2 and see if Apollo can make sense of what she's saying.
Sounds good. Get to Apollo. And a -2 on Comtech, correct?
Yeah, correct. Oh, shit.
I didn't see the rollers of that here.
2 successes on 3 dice.
Ah, nice.
Okay, so, obviously you didn't catch all of it because the idea to open the comms line, so that Apollo could hear it. She had already been going on for a moment, but she's saying what she's saying is, yeah, that's right. She's saying, Apollo's working on it, but what you're picking up, what Apollo's coming up with, Max, is that she's saying she's infected, that she needs to be put into cryo immediately. You guys are Americans. You're not. I've got multiple. I'm missing somebody here. Wait a minute. Somebody's icon's not on the map. I don't know who it is. Anyway, you guys are Americans. That UPP. There it is. Okay, it was just overlapping. I'm sorry. That that the UPP. This is a UPP colony. That we were attacked. People have been infected. I think everybody's dead except for me. I need to go back into cryo of some sort. I mean, she's just going on and on. I'm infected. I'm sick.
If we can put her back into cryo, I will start doing that unless somebody stops me.
Are we going to put her back in the little box, or are we going to use one of our pods that we don't need? So we have up to 8 pods, right?
You do. You have 8.
6 of us. So we have a human pod.
If we
But
can
that
get her in a compression suit to contain whatever she has to transport her to the ship to then put her in a human cryopod, I'm comfortable with it as a chief medical officer to maintain the infection. But if not, you make do what you make do with in the field with, and if we just want to put her back like a little kid in this little one, I'm fine with that.
yeah, and then the counterpoint to what I just said is that it could cause cross contamination within one of the suits in the cryopod, and I don't know that you can have a compression suit in the cryopod. Wouldn't that slow down the cryogenics?
Yeah. If nothing else, the suit's way too bulky. For someone in it to be in the cryopod.
No, we'd have to move the cryopod to our airlock and then have it all happen in there, so we can basically eject all that air.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If she wants to go back into the box, then I guess she can go back into the box. I wish we could get more info from her before.
How many pods do we have on the ship?
8.
Okay.
With 2 spare.
Yeah. So we're just going. You guys are just going to see if she wants to go back into the cryo crate, essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just
Is there any way to communicate with her?
I'm gesturing to kind of lower herself, and that like a box closing, I guess. I don't really know what else to do.
Try to ask her if there's any other survivors.
Will Apollo give us the Russian for that?
Well, Apollo already told us that part of what she said is she believes everyone else is dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. No, thank you.
No problem.
All right. So what I would say is, let's if you guys want her to go back into the cryo crate, go ahead and make a command roll to see, or a manipulation roll, I should say, to see how she reacts to that.
Oh, it was -2 still because it's the language?
Not in this case, no.
Okay. And let me push that.
Okay.
And let me push that again. I'm serious. I can push empathy rolls twice.
All right, look at that. So after a moment of communicating via somatic movements and using your ultimately calming presence, you think you finally get across to her the idea that you guys are just going to put her back in the cryo crate, at least for now. She seems a little against it at first, but then after a moment she kind of gives you the head nod, the universal "I get it, I understand," and she kind of curls back up into the crate. So I want someone to make a Comtech roll in order to close it back up without killing her.
I can do that.
All right, go ahead,
I
please.
will. Yeah, I will assist.
Okay, very good.
Uh,
2 successes, very good. You have a stunt, and Vickers, for that matter, you had a manipulation stunt. I don't know what the manipulation stunts are. We very rarely have used manipulation.
I'm just going to use this one to move quickly since she's fighting an infection, and it seems like containing that is the most important thing to keeping us safe and probably saving her.
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. So your hands fly across the control pad on it, and and you get the thing. It seals, and you can hear it starting to work. I don't know that the manipulation stunts really helped us much in this matter from a narrative standpoint.
Let me take a look. I have a PDF of the core book. I'll pull it up. Manipulation. Maintenance. I don't know.
I'll just give you, if you want, I'll just give you +1 die to a future manipulation roll.
Alright, so stunts. Oh, your opponent does what you want. Oh,
Okay.
any chance that while we're gesturing her down, she gives us any last comment in Russian that might be helpful for the situation? Your opponent does more than you ask for example, giving you some useful piece of information. Details are up to the GM.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Apollo translates it as Ivan recorded everything. Or Ivan records everything. You're not sure, but
So once we seal her up, just all right. I think Ivan is our main objective now. If she's the only survivor, do we want to transport her back to the ship now, or do we want to keep pressing on? I'm not sure how our air supplies are doing.
Did you used to ask the teacher about collecting homework assignments too?
I did. Yeah.
All right, make the rolls.
Air supply.
That's like Andy shouting over the comms as Monahan, "I couldn't figure it out." Everyone gains a point of stress.
Well, that was malicious. I did that on purpose.
On purpose, I know. All right, so Vickers, Dunning, Roman, and Sinclair all lose a point of air.
Okay.
We're all doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing fine. It's fine.
Aren't we like at half?
I'm at half.
I guess, I don't know. That just makes me super nervous.
Well, we could split the party and have some people take her back and some people keep pushing on.
You can do that, but you almost definitely have to send Dwayne back.
Who is at half?
I'm at half.
Or at less? Anybody?
Everyone's at half. Everyone's at half except for Sinclair, and then no one's at less.
I mean, the ship isn't that far away, so
Yeah, well, I'm down
if we
in
get
2
to
air.
1 air, I guess we can
Doesn't
kind
scare
of
me.
jog back. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, I would give you that. If you got down to 1 air, I'd let you go back for free, essentially.
Okay.
I will say that picking up and lugging a cryo crate with a person in it back to the ship would probably be pretty strenuous activity. So if you were to do that, whoever's doing it would probably end up making a couple air rolls just to get back. Um, because that's a lot, that's a lot
So
of a lot.
and we would be aware of that. I mean, it's the same thing as when you go scuba dive. You know, when you're swimming harder, you get less time on your tank. So I think with that in mind, it would make sense for some of us to start talking about, you know, we're going to have to do this strenuous thing. We should commit what oxygen we have to making the move while we have it. Or we may have to just go back to the ship and resupply on oxygen and come back for her.
Yeah, but we don't have any
Well,
rush, and she isn't.
if we
cryo,
started
so
carrying it
let's
now
continue having a look
and we
around.
got down to one
and
air
then we
part
can
way
find-
back,
Hold on. Bob and Marty, you two are talking over each other. I don't know
Oh.
if maybe one of you doesn't hear the other.
Yeah, I can't hear Marty. I'll reconnect.
Ah, okay. I'm not sure either of you could hear each other at all. I don't think you could hear him, and he couldn't hear you.
Hey,
So Bob,
Bob, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Okay, you go.
All I was trying to say was that we could start hauling the thing back. If we choose to haul it back, we could start hauling it back, and if we get to 1 air, we just set it down and go get some more air and come back. It's not going anyplace.
Yeah, it's kind of in the same vein. What I was thinking is we just keep on looking around for now. It's not going anyplace, and maybe we find a power loader or a vehicle that can take it back.
Yes,
Why
I agree.
not?
Oh, that's an idea.
You know, it's a big, massive crate, so let's find something to.
Not only that, but I would like to find Ivan before we bring anything back from here
Yeah.
and put it in the ship.
Yeah.
Ivan and interrogate it.
That's
find
my
out
question.
What the hell we're actually bringing back.
Is there any reason to bring it back? Because I don't think it's part of our mission.
Well, I mean, she's a survivor.
Under international law, we have to bring back any survivor.
Yeah, we can't just abandon her, but
Also,
Yes,
think
but
about all the
not that
secret-
anybody would know, but still.
Well, we'd have to go through the pain in the ass of stripping our Apollo apart, of memory and making sure none of this got back.
Yeah, I'm definitely not suggesting we do anything like that. I mean, Rudy is like a straight up person. She wouldn't like abandon somebody, but still.
I think that getting her to an actual medical facility would be the next best step to identify the pathogen here. I'm interested in her well-being as much as our own, which is why, as much as it's not necessarily the safest means of transport in a cryopod designed for materials, I think this is our best option for maintaining isolation and quarantine procedures.
I agree. We didn't create this emergency. We're just trying to help her.
Sounds like it keeps ship safety, so I'm good.
Well, for now, let's continue. I'd like to check out this other door that led from the cold storage room.
Oh, this door right here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this door to the south goes to some kind of entryway, right? So
Yeah, it's a security door.
yeah, so I'll head back up this way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that room that you just moved back into. I mean, it's clearly it's clearly a mess. It's clearly a mess hall. So, but as you move to that other door, the door actually slides open to reveal the outside. So the prefab wall that wraps the colony is just gone. Oops, I just moved the whole map. I didn't mean to. It's just gone around this area. It's been destroyed. and you can even see where the edges of it has of what's left has scorch marks. Um, Through the gap, you can see the forest in the distance, off this way, but for a kilometer, there's just the blast radius and ash from whatever exploded. Whatever caused this devastation, a few of the strongest and thickest trees still exist, but only as black skeleton remains. Blackened skeletal remains, what I was trying to say, a shadow of their former glory. The blast radius looks to be a kilometer wide. Within the southern part of the fenced in area down here, there are some animal pens. Based on the amount of mud, it kind of makes you think that they were probably pig pens, but you don't see any live animals.
That's very interesting. Not what I expected you to say.
So if we have animals here with possible pathogen that are loose, basically, if you see a wild hog, shoot it in sight. This is Texas.
Let me move you with the group. Yeah, so the animal pens are down here. And then, obviously, where the wall's missing, that's the edge of the blast radius for whatever exploded.
Is there a wall to the south? Does the open area end?
The
Or does it continue?
and it may be a little hard to tell, but you mean like when you go down there? So yeah, there's a right there. There's a wall where there's some colony building. Um, you know, Rudy and who's that? Vickers. You two moved further south. Why don't you two make observation rolls? Vickers, make your panic roll. 4, holding it together.
You think you're going to get me that soon?
And oh, Rudy, I didn't see yours. Okay, so Rudy, do you want to push or you want to leave it? You can leave it. Vickers has success, so that's good.
Looks like Sinclair is with us too, by the way.
Oh yeah. Sinclair, you can make your roll if you like. That's fine. 1 success. So down in these pens, there are a couple of pigs, at least what were pigs. Their skin and flesh is blackened, just like the people you saw out in the courtyard. There's also one other thing that you can't define as a pig. You should see a handout. It says bizarre animal.
Well, that's just so cuddly and cute and every night. And
Is that thing rooting around in the mud or is it dead?
Oh, it is. It is lying on its side in the mud. It appears to be dead. And
I will draw my service revolver.
yeah, with the success, Vickers and Sinclair, it looks like it was impaled by something large, something that skewered it in the side. But, it's a bizarre and unknown creature that none of you have ever seen before, so I think that's worth a point of stress. Yay!
Some stress, some samples. Rinse, repeat.
What is the object that's impaling it?
There's nothing there.
Oh, it was impaled.
It was impaled. Whatever impaled it is not there. But you can see the wound in its side, plain as day. It's rather large.
Prod it with a toe. Does it respond?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. It doesn't look sanitary.
I just need to know if I have to shoot it or not.
I mean, you could always shoot it once for good measure, but
What kind of samples you taking, Sinclair?
Whatever samples a biologist would take from the pig.
Fair enough. Fair enough. From the blackened pigs or from this thing?
believe that's called bacon.
I get some bacon mutated thing.
Has anyone tried eating it?
Yeah. Not yet.
No, but I wouldn't suggest getting Sinclair to make dinner tonight.
All right, folks. Where to?
Well, I guess we go back inside and head south.
Yeah, I think we should try that security door.
All right, so we'll just move everybody over. All right.
Anyone go to Comtech for this?
Yeah, it is a locked security door, so it will be a Comtech roll at a -2. Or a heavy machinery roll if you wanted someone to try to pry it open. Whichever way you want to go about it.
You want me to try and do that?
I have that 7 Comtech. What's the better roll?
I think Comtech is better because we don't, unless you can force it open without damaging it. But I would try the non-invasive way first, right? Maybe.
So I think Roman Comtech plus SSD and I'll assist.
Okay. All right.
You said there's a minus to this?
-2 because it is a security door. But
Okay,
you get
well,
the +1 and the +1, so it's a wash.
the wash. All right.
Oh, 2 successes and a facehugger. Oh, nervous twitch. Your stress level and stress level of all friendly PCs go up by 1.
Okay.
But you do have a stunt. What would you like to do with that?
I don't suppose I'm likely to get new information out of the door panel.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'll just save it up. Now I've got 3 bonus successes just hanging around
Okay. All right.
for Comtech stuff.
So the door opens, and inside is another room. This room has banks of computer terminals and security monitors. You've clearly found the colony's command center. There is no one here, but a soft woman's voice plays from one of the monitors. You recognize the message that you guys heard over the radio transmission. And then there are security doors on every side of the room. Of course, this one obviously leads back outside. You figured that out just from the way the room is oriented. But you've got this one and this one.
Which one looks like the most important room? Like any doorway that's like got 6 layers of encryption on it or something?
Make an observation roll, Vickers, since you spoke. 2 successes.
Nice.
Look at that. So, this one, the one over there, has something stenciled on the wall right next to it. You guys should see the wall stencil handout.
You guys want to try that one?
Of course, none of you speak Russian, so.
Bees make bee sounds in Spanish. Maybe it's the same.
I instinctively got my phone out to translate it. Stop myself.
I'm just trying to reason out what a short 4-letter word could possibly be in on a colony door. Stop, halt.
Is it written on there? Did you say, or is it?
It's
Is it a plaque?
it's stenciled onto the wall, like just
Stenciled.
above the door.
Okay, like officially, not haphazard.
Right.
Just above the door. Men, women, maybe it's a fucking toilet.
A toilet with a security door. Man,
Yeah,
UVP's rough.
yeah. Don't go in there. No, obviously it's not that. Well, I mean, let's just go. I don't know. It's stenciled, so it's not like a high security thing, right?
Well, mean, it is a security door. But
Yeah.
obviously, they want whoever knows Russian to know what's in, arguably what's in that room. I think you could draw that conclusion.
Fire? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Who wants
Yeah,
to,
we got to investigate anyway, so might as well
Alright.
go.
Who wants to open the door? It's a security door, so Roman, are you going to roll, or are you just going to throw a success at it?
No, I'll toss a success at opening this one.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Very good. So you guys can move into the room so you can see it. The walls of this room are lined with panel after panel of blinking lights. Cold air blows vigorously from a vent in the ceiling, but it barely keeps the room below a normal room temperature as the system fights with the myriad hard drives and CPUs that feed into a floor-to-ceiling computer core in the middle of the room.
So it is a bathroom.
There are several monitors and an access terminal with a keyboard facing the door
Ivan, that's what it was saying.
through which you entered, and a single black word, the same word you saw above the door, is stenciled in Cyrillic above the monitors.
That's good news.
And while none of you can speak Russian, you certainly recognize an AI mainframe room when you see one.
All right,
Well,
tech people,
Yeah,
get
let's
to
get
work.
busy.
All right. Who would like to do what?
Tell me what I'm looking at again.
You're basically in the mother room or in the Ivan room. There's multiple computer terminals and there's keyboards and blinking lights and all sorts of stuff.
All right, can I make an effort to try to access any kind of event log and security camera recordings that Ivan can show me from going back? However, we want to try to figure out what kind of incident happened here.
Okay.
Now, if I used command as an officer to order Dr. Roman to interrogate the computer, does he get +1 from that?
Every success you have gives him a bonus die.
Oh,
Would
Nice.
you like me to do that since this is likely to be an important
Yeah.
check for you?
100%. Yeah.
All right, so Dr. Roman, interrogate the AI.
Aye, Captain.
One
No,
success.
it's only one.
Well,
It's better than none.
you can push the
Okay.
roll. You didn't panic.
Sure, why the hell not?
Well,
I said interrogate the computer.
So I'm going to get 2
I
bonus
think I
dice,
did
right?
that wrong.
yeah.
And then can I also
Was I
get
supposed to-
some help from Sinclair? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sharif.
No, it's okay,
No,
Sharif.
I
you
just
didn't
blew
add
I
your
was
stress.
supposed to go -1, I think.
Yeah,
right?
you're supposed to add the
And
stress
add a
die
stress.
and then do
Okay,
a
I'm
minus
sorry.
one.
And then
That's-
do a -1.
That's
Okay,
okay.
allow me to do this properly.
That's fine.
Okay, -1. Here goes. Oh,
So,
okay.
2 successes and a panic. Roll your panic. 7. So nervous twitch. Your stress and everyone else's goes up 1.
Sorry, guys.
That
That
but
escalated quickly.
you do have 2 bonus dice, Dr. Roman.
And I get a third for help from Jake.
Yeah. So that's 3. And then the SSDD would certainly count. You are troubleshooting a computer system.
So that's +4, right?
That's +4, and then -2 because you don't speak Russian. You recognize computer interface to be sure, but you don't understand the Cyrillic text. So it'd be a total of +2.
Okay.
Holy shit on a shingle. Well, you were already on the nervous twitch, so you move up to an 8. You move up to an 8. What's the 8? Is the 8 the agility penalty?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the tremble. So you're trembling uncontrollably. You have -2 to any agility-based rolls while you're panicking. Meantime, yeah, you're able to access Ivan pretty. I mean, the security's not that bad. The hard part is just you can't read what's on the screen.
Right.
But being that it's a knockoff of Apollo, you can make some reasonable assumptions, and then you absolutely get into the security footage. The security footage, based on the Earth Standard timestamps, goes back 3 months,
Okay.
and there are 10 cameras. So there's a total of 21,600 hours of footage, give or take.
Okay.
So it's really a question of where you want to start and how you want to go about this. But there's a lot here.
I think the best thing to do to start would be, well, the best place to start if we're going to look at the footage would probably be in the room where we know that there was violence. And so we want to try to see what happened with the thing with the giant head. So that can potentially isolate one of the cameras. We should probably also watch in reverse, since that's going to get us the soonest. I mean, unless everything happened at the beginning of the 3 months, that's the most likely to get us the most recent events. As one of my stunts, can I try to find a setting that will let Ivan produce text in English?
That's good. I'll let you do that. Absolutely.
Okay, I would like to change the settings so that it speaks to me in English, and I can read it in English.
Okay.
Am I able to use? Well, I'm assuming. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and evaluate the video right now.
Right.
Could I use an additional stunt? I would be probably arguing this under unexpected information to find a way, a means, and maybe there's just a backup drive there of taking the records back to the ship with us so that we can review it on our ship.
Yeah, I would let you do that. Absolutely.
Okay, and I'll use my last stunt to make this all happen.
Yeah, because it's it's a mainframe CPU. There's all sorts of backup drives and everything. I would say in order to take the drive, Dwayne is going to need to do a heavy machinery roll to disconnect it. But I don't see any issue. You can definitely use the stunt to determine which drive has all that information on it. Did you want to start reviewing footage now, or did you just want to pass on that for the moment?
I wouldn't personally think there's a lot of rationale to trying to dig into it now. We have a lot left unseen, and there's just too much to try to sift through.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on my end, so that's fine.
There's no way to transfer it to the ship, so I can look at it while I'm babysitting the ship.
No, you're going to have to bring the physical drive back, I believe. Yep. So is that the plan? You want Dwayne to...
Dwayne, I can help with the machinery roll.
I would also help if it's allowable.
I think I'm going to limit you to one helper.
Yeah. I'm trained. I have one, and I have...
Dwayne, you're muted.
I'm having trouble hearing. What Dwayne to do?
A heavy machinery roll to uninstall the backup drive that has all of the colony footage and stuff on it.
Okay, I've got all right, I got a +1 die from a previous success on heavy machinery.
Yeah, and Vickers is going to give you some help, giving you a +1. I'm only going to allow one helper because anyone who's worked on computers knows the more hands you get in there, the harder it becomes.
So I have a +2 on heavy machinery.
Right.
Is what you're saying. My
Correct.
previous +1 help. All right.
Oh, not a problem. And you have 2 stunts.
All right, well, I'll do it in half the time.
Okay, so that's 1. And then I break it permanently. Why does no one go with the break it permanently?
And I'll save a +1 mod 2 later roll.
Sounds good. All right, so Dwayne's got the drive, so he's got a backup drive now that you pointed him to which one, and with a little help from Vickers, they get it unhooked, so they'll be able to take it back and plug it into Apollo, which would allow you guys to go through the footage at your leisure, as it were. What else would you guys like to do?
I think we have to grab our survivor and start marching back.
Well, real quick, can we access the cameras in the dark areas and see
Yeah.
get an overview of what's there,
Yeah, I'll let you
which
do
might
that.
save us a trip or reveal something useful like a vehicle for taking the
Absolutely. Since
cryopod.
since he's already got access to the security system, I don't have a problem. There are cameras. There are cameras in 3 rooms that you have not seen before. Okay, 2 of them are are clearly some sort of crew quarters. One of them is, you know, they look like they're rooms for a single person, which is a lot of luxury for a colony, especially a UPP colony. One of them it's very messy. It's got a bed and it's got a whole bunch of it's got clothes, mostly jumpsuits and feminine undergarments, just strewn all across the room. Um, the other one is the same size and is also clearly a single person's quarters. This one is much more clean and organized. There doesn't seem to be anything setting out like a personal effect or anything that's out of place. Both of those 2 rooms have a have kind of their own built-in small kitchen area, and from the angle of the camera, the second one, you can see just boots sticking out from behind a counter, like someone's on the floor. And then the third camera that you can access actually is a really big room, probably 30 meters by 20 meters, and it's a vehicle depot. It looks like there's some sort of vehicle in it that you don't recognize that might be partially disassembled. There you see, from the camera's angle, you can see the edge of what looks like a power loader, and then there's a bunch of tools and workbenches in there. And that's a very, very large room.
All right. Well, I'd like to take a look physically at the room where the boots are, just to make sure that that individual is deceased. So I'm not exactly sure where that is, judging by what we haven't seen. It's probably south of the main entryway there, I think there was a door going south that we didn't investigate.
Yeah, there's only 2 places you haven't gone into at this point. There's this security door right here, and then there's this building down here, this isn't actually a security door. It's just a really big, large, like vehicle-sized door. And this is a very large building that's separate from the rest of the complex. I mean, it's still within the wall, but it's a separate, self-contained building.
So we can assume that's the motor pool, likely.
It would make sense, yeah.
All right, I would like to suggest that we go through that southern door just to make sure there isn't somebody alive in there. And then we can go to the motor pool and see if we can either use the loader or get that vehicle running.
All right. So you guys move back into the command room. And who's going to open the door?
Hey, just a quick public service announcement. I don't know if anybody needs to go, but we're getting close to 1 p.m. my time here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if some of you have commitments.
I will have to get going around 2 o'clock. Yeah,
No, so do I, actually. I've got a couple things I got to do. So maybe that's actually a good stopping point then, if you guys are good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll end here, and then we'll come back. We'll come back next week.
Yeah, you got to forgive me for the air rolls. I've been using the excuse that Apollo can just run everything to get past the language barrier. So it gives some takes.
Yeah. That idea has saved us a little bit, I think. That was a good idea.
That was a great idea, actually. One thing I've said many times as a GM is, I'm always surprised by the creativity and thoughts of the players, and that's, sometimes as a GM you have to be prepared to reward that creativity. So.
Well,
which means you're going to die next adventure.
Well, in the original Alien film, Mother translates like whatever engineer language is going off the ship from the beacon. She does it today.
That's true.
Russian is a known language. I mean, Apollo is also like Bing, but
yeah.
But even that, like I would think that Like, I definitely think the Ivan thing, Ivan should be able to translate to English, no problem. It's a bastardization of Apollo, and Apollo is based in English.
Right.
So that's why I thought at first, I'm like, Ivan has to have an English setting. There's no reason to take it away. They would have just translated over top of it.
Yeah, and absolutely, I that makes absolute sense to me. So,
Well, maybe we'll at least be able to get it to tell us more as we keep exploring.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess if that's that, thanks so much for coming out, guys.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, really good stuff. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see where this goes.
I hope this hasn't been too easy so far. No one's been in any real mortal danger.
I have 5 stress. Stop talking.
we've all almost suffocated like multiple times.
Yeah,
I'm doing just fine on the ship.
I've got 3 stress. I'm on my 5th or 6th stress because part of it got talked down. I honestly figured as soon as we saw something related to black goo, I'm like, this isn't going to last as long as Marty thinks it is. we're probably not even going to make it out of this room based on what happened last time.
Ow, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
And then everybody else was like, just get the shit and put it on the ship with us.
Yeah, just put some on your face.
Everyone in the audience
Right,
is just
right.
waiting for you guys to do
Rub it
something
all
good and
over.
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually skin lotion.
It's
Is there
fine.
black
Put
oil
some
something?
Windex on
You need to lick it.
That's right. That's right.
So I think we should eat some bacon from that. Well, pig's a bit of a stretch, but
Bacon cannot possibly hurt you.
No,
It's
absolutely
just too
not.
delicious.
Yeah.
space bacon
Fine.
might have additional conditions.
Space bacon. That's great.
It's bacon.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, guys. We'll see you in a week.
Have a great week, guys.
Sounds
All
good.
right,
All right.
later.